Zaz, Greg Cody is burying you with his catchphrases, and I think that you need to unveil your catchphrases soon if you're going to do it, because he's about to get into his top 10, and that's going to be an avalanche when he does. Like, he is nailing a month-long joke.
You said top 10, but it's really like top 20 now, right? Because we moved back.
Well, we're in the glory area right now. This is the place to be with the catchphrases. No, but it's unbelievably, this has been a fireworks show for months, because it's going to keep getting more and more fireworks, more and more explosions. Yesterday we closed with got to take a quick K. That's a quick crap. It doesn't start with a K, or it's a quick Q. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know, just as ridiculous. I'm sorry. So
it's a QK.
Come on.
So what is the phrase? I'm sorry. I got it wrong.
QK, what is quick crap.
I have dancing swords. Got to go take a QK.
Right.
All right.
But the quick crap is parenthetical. It's called QK.
Right, but crap is not spelled with a K. And I got it wrong because I got confused about crap is not spelled with a K.
A quick K.
It should be, though.
And I spelled it with a Q, I think.
Dan, I'm 4 steps ahead of you. I'm already compiling a top 5 catchphrase list of my own.
Oh,
I don't need 65.
That's so sad, though.
It's not. Why
5 is sad.
No.
When the guy across from you has 65.
Okay, no. I got 5 bangers, all right?
Really?
I don't need to have 65.
How are you 4 steps ahead of Dan if he told you yesterday to do it?
I'm 4 steps ahead of Dan. I don't need to get into the minutia of what each of those steps are. I'm 4 steps ahead of you, and I can't afford for Greg Cody to steal another one of my catchphrases. So before he gets to his top 10, I'm going to have my top 5, and boom, you're boxed in. You can't steal anymore.
Wow. Sounds like, I think there's a word for that in journalism. It's called plagiarism. You know, why don't I do a painting that looks remarkably like the Mona Lisa and just call it my work?
Between the two of us, only one of us has plagiarized something so far, and it's not me.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about.
Right in your face.
Damn, man.
Right in your face.
Dunked on you. You got nothing?
What can you have? No, look. That Greg Cody has found
He's
something.
so proud of himself.
I mean, he
He's
should
so
be.
proud of
but
himself.
he should be. To be able,
He should leave. He should not do the rest of the show because you're not going to be any better than that.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point, Zaz.
to be able to sing his catchphrase, which is your catchphrase, in your face to checkmate you on the finality of you've only got 5 catchphrases.
Like spitting in my face.
I have 65, and even though some of them are bad, like the Little League theory, like that shouldn't be in there, and it's ridiculous. There are some quick K's.
QKs. That's a disrespect of the QK.
There are some quick
You got
craps.
electrocuted on that when you were like,
The reason for it is I don't know the expression. Why is it a quick K?
It's not. It's a QK.
Why is it a QK?
You know what a
Why is
QC would be.
anything?
Yeah, but why isn't it a QC? That's my point is, why is it a QK when it's a quick crap?
What's a more fun thing to say, QC or QK? It's obvious.
God damn it, it is obvious.
Ball is back, Jack. The beautiful game is on a roll, and we'll have an eye on every goal, shouting magisterial. No need to back down. Just park the bus, stop the attack. With the hand of God, put your header back on track. Football is back, Jack. Mbappe's flying through the air. Ronaldo's here for one last prayer. Will Messi come out to play? Or is it victory for the USA? It's corner kicks when the box is packed. That's how you know that football is back, Jack. Let me hear you say. Football is back, Jack. The time is here, open the gates. The long wait is over, so we'll yell, let's go States. No need to back down. Just strike the ball, start the attack. If you say this game's the best, I'll say it's a gag. Football is back, Jack. Football is back, Jack. Football is back. Football is back, Jack.
You have heard me talking for a while now about the mastery that is at the top of sports right now, whether it's Ohtani or all the men in tennis. We used to have one Babe Ruth, and now we've got a dozen of them. And one of them played last night in the World Cup and started the World Cup with a hat trick at 38 years old. And it's a total insanity. So we will get to the majesty of Messi in a moment, because I'm not too old or numb to things that are great in sports to shrug off the fact that he just opened the World Cup with a hat trick at that age, which is just sheer lunacy.
He's a good player.
But before we talk about that, we are officially now in crazy land when it comes to the Giannis stuff, because you got the Boston people crazy and you got the Miami people crazy, and this is their championship. This is their Eastern Conference championship, where the Boston media is facing the Miami media, and Zaslow and Jeremy seem to be hugely pissed off, like legitimately angry, in a way that reminds me of all of the craziness around LeBron when we were talking transactions. Like, what is happening with you people?
This feels like 2010 all over again. And I know, Jeremy, you were a little boy in 2010, so you may not remember. But in 2010, this is what it felt like, where when it started to gain some momentum, when we started to gain some steam, that maybe LeBron is actually going to sign with Miami. It's not going to be Cleveland again. It's not going to be Chicago. It's not going to be New York. It's going to be Miami, who doesn't deserve a player of LeBron James's caliber. You started to have the pushback where, why would he choose Miami? Why would Miami be a place you would go to? They don't even have anybody under contract except for Mario Chalmers, who believes the team was built around him because he was the only player who was still under contract. We started to get all these people tell us why Miami is a poor option. And what has happened now over probably like the last 48 hours? It feels like everyone's coming out, which really means that they know Giannis to Miami is going to happen.
What does coming out mean? What is everyone coming out? Did you finish that thought? They're coming out, and who's coming out?
I said everybody's coming out, and then I stopped that thought, and I added extra context, and now I'm going to circle back, all right? Follow along. Everybody started to come out with all the reasons that Miami is a terrible option, and it should be Boston. Even though you have people tell you, oh, it's Miami and it's Boston, although I don't really know if Boston's even involved, but it's Miami and Boston. The reason? Because it needs to be anybody other than Miami.
That's exactly right. Like, I think at this point, it's clear that the national media is concerned about Giannis ending up in Miami.
It's happening again.
And whether or not he actually does is besides the point. The point is that these national media folks are doing every single thing that they can to will it to not happen.
Who is this?
All right, let's start right here. Let's start right here. I've got names. Let's start with Kendrick Perkins.
What do you say?
Kendrick Perkins is the first one to say, oh, I don't know if that team will be any good.
Giannis better take his ass to Boston. That makes the most sense for everybody. Him going to Miami does absolutely nothing. It does not move the needle. Him and Bam out of the bio, that is not singing championship to me.
That's not singing championship to you? How about Bam Adebayo with Jimmy Butler, who, by the way, everybody said, oh, when Jimmy Butler was coming to Miami, you talk about LeBron, in 2019 it was Jimmy Butler's going there to retire.
I'm going to need you to turn it down a notch just because it's very early and
Okay.
there's a long. This is a marathon, okay?
Okay.
It's not a race. We got months. We got at least weeks
Just
of
getting
this.
started.
We got 6
ahead,
days left.
Right? Okay.
Just getting started.
Let's just take some of the air out of the tires for a second and marvel at the fact that Kendrick Perkins still doesn't know how to say Bam Adebayo.
It really is amazing, right?
I mean, he's gotten better at it. I will give him credit for the idea that
Babo.
Just say Bam.
Yeah, that would be the way to do it. That's why we go Wemby. That's why. I mean, my father still calls Antetokounmpo the alphabet because he just doesn't want to do it.
Imagine them on the same team.
But the reason I need you to turn down the volume on this is because name names. Who are you talking about when you say the national media is conspiring against Miami? Because you sound like paranoid loons with a persecution complex, but I understand it because you have been persecuted in this regard.
How about Chris Broussard?
I just don't understand why Giannis, with all due respect to the Heat, wants to go to Miami. I mean, obviously it's a great place to live. It is a strong organization. Eric Spoelstra's a great coach, but it's going to essentially be Milwaukee South. Now look, if they trade for him, they got Bam. So those are two bigs
but that's it.
that don't shoot, right?
Well, Bam scored 83 points.
Great organization, great place to live, great coach. Oh, no, I want to go there.
Let's laugh at Bam's 83. How about the fact that even according to The Ringer, if Antetokounmpo and Adebayo paired together, they'd be one of 4 teams in the league with a top 10 player and a top 25 player.
By the way, can I just mention, all right, the Miami Heat kind of have a history where when they acquire a top player, when they acquire a superstar player, they either go to the finals or win the finals every single time.
And the anticipation would be Wiggins and Powell, by the way.
Okay, with the by the ways that you both just did there.
There was good by the ways.
No, I think
Good
they were
by the ways.
No, I think they were bad by the ways, and I'm about to explain to you why. You said, by the way, can I just mention? And you didn't absorb or listen to anything Jeremy said. When Jeremy, tell me what Jeremy said before you said, by the way, because what you said with your by the way was just, I don't want to listen to anything you said. He was making a point and he threw it to you and he wanted you to be impressed. And you just say, by the way, can I mention I wasn't listening to you? Because if I quizzed you right now, you don't know what he said as his closing point, correct?
Well, I didn't expect you to call me out on that.
I saw it happen because he just threw at you something, a fact that shouldn't have been skipped by that way, okay? Because if he's going to make an accusation that it's a persecution that's happening here with the national media, and you guys are scarred by what happened with Lillard, when you saw the Boston media do that to that trade. Like you watched the voices get pressurized and the front office of Portland become something that just wasn't going to trade Lillard to Miami, and Miami ended up getting very lucky that they did not trade for Damian Lillard. But you guys are scarred by all of this. After 15 years of basketball, this is the most important basketball the Heat play. In the offseason, when their fans get involved in the transactions, and you've seen a couple of times now that Boston has beaten you in both ways. They win the championship, and then they win the offseason of this stuff. And now it's here again with Giannis, and it's not just Kendrick Perkins and Chris Broussard. Tony Kornheiser is saying, quote, I don't think this is close in terms of the basketball aspect of this. You go to Boston. The better landing spot is Boston. Miami finished 10th last year in the East. They got knocked out of the play-in. They got Bam Adebayo, and I don't really know who else I think is any good. Adebayo scored 83 in a game last year, but it was against the Wizards, so it doesn't count.
We're looking at a situation, Dan, that I don't like, which is this is going to set up for a spectacular failure when Giannis goes to Boston and we all get crushed one more time and we start looking at free agents of 2029. It is. I feel this impending doom, Dan. I don't know what to do with it. Greg, I don't know if you can help me here because they're making good points. I see the national tidal wave of Boston media coming out and saying, nothing here is good. Who is Khalil Ware? He's Derek Lively. And it's like, wait a second, what happened?
Yeah, I don't feel that at all. I still feel like Miami is the front runner and should be. And I'm trying to picture Giannis Antetokounmpo being influenced even one iota by anything Kendrick Perkins is saying or by anything Tony Kornheiser is saying. Giannis is his own guy. He's personal friends with Bam. They have the same agent. He wants to live in Miami. There's a lot of reasons why he would come here. He's got the best coach in the league. All of the stuff that you say as a disclaimer before you say he should go to Boston, those are factors favoring Miami.
When Carmelo Anthony was traded once upon a time when we did all of this stuff, one of the things that the Knicks fans always blamed him for is that he made it so that they had to trade a lot of the pieces that he would have wanted to play with. And Bam Adebayo not being traded here is the primary reason that Antetokounmpo would come here. It's top of the list. As Jeremy said when Zaz wasn't listening and wasn't expecting to be called out on it, very few teams in the league would have a top 10 player and a top 25 player. And the only teams that do have that are the good ones. Like there's no such thing It doesn't exist a bad team that's got a top 10 player and a top 25 player, and they're not also a good team. Who are the teams? They're the Knicks,
the Lakers, and the Nuggets.
So you are assuming here that the Heat will be able to build around that because, of course, they would. And you're assuming here that the Heat will get better because they will find the pieces around those two, because the starting point is, do you have a top 10 player and do you have a top 25 player? Everybody wants that. There's nobody in the history of basketball who doesn't want to start with that as roster construction.
What would they actually be losing, Miami, in this trade, all right? Because Antetokounmpo is a major upgrade over Ware, who the coach doesn't even like playing anyway. And then we talk about Powell and Wiggins, who, whether you think they're big names or not, these are 20-point-a-game scorers that are supposed to be your third and fourth best guys. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, if your third and fourth best guys are 20-point-a-game scorers, that's how you win.
Right. I agree. And they're losing. You don't mind losing Hero. Nobody is going to be upset that Tyler Hero
played less games than Giannis did this past season.
Right. And he was an all-star once, but I don't consider him to be an all-star caliber player. I think he's one level below that.
Are we really trying to build up Andrew Wiggins, though, right now? You guys, this is
what are you
bad
doing?
look for you guys. This is a bad look for you guys right now. This just doesn't end well for you guys.
NBA champion.
You guys sound desperate.
I don't understand what you're saying there. Wiggins was one of the better two-way wings in the league last year, period. Like, that's not a debate over anybody.
All I'm saying is if Wiggins your fourth best player, your team's good.
That's exactly right.
He's a starting caliber player in the
right.
NBA.
And if you surround Giannis and Bam with those two players and beyond, you feel like you're in a good spot to start. But I want to get back to the national media and their issue here, because Nick Wright is yet another one. Your boy, Dan, Nick Wright.
What do you say?
It's ridiculous what he said yesterday.
Why are the Heat on the list other than Miami's dope? I love the idea of Giannis in Boston. I love it. I think he can win there. I think it is a good fit. I think that it is a shakeup they need. Giannis has not played in relevant postseason games in years, and I don't think that'd be different in Miami. I just really don't want him to go to Miami, and I agree. I think Spoelstra is one of the best coaches of this era. I think Pat Riley is a legend. I think that is a great organization, but they will have no chance to compete.
No chance. Just like when the Heat acquired in the 2019 offseason, they acquired Jimmy Butler on a team that also missed the playoffs, not a playoff team, and added a guy in Jimmy Butler who is not supposed to be as good as Giannis Antetokounmpo, and the Heat went to the finals. Not once. I know you might be thinking they went to the finals just once. No. Twice. This organization hits on these superstar players and then goes to the finals with them every time.
Dan, I like Nick Wright very much. He's very close to being banned from the program. Wow. Very close. What is that? So you like the organization, you like the city, you like the coach, you like the president, you like everybody, but don't go there. Please don't go there. Go to Boston instead. Come on.
And just parenthetically, let's make no mistake, Giannis is 2 tiers better than Jimmy Butler. I don't care what anybody says.
Or at least I would say, or at least when they acquired Jimmy Butler, no one had Jimmy on the level of this player.
Yes.
I don't know what Cody is doing. He just did tiers twice, and I don't know what his tiers look like. Yeah. But this all sounds like Miami Heat tiers are coming when they in Boston.
They are.
That's my fear.
Like this, what is happening here is just the beginning of the escalation of the lunacy, where Jeremy already sounds unreasonable. Zaz sounds crazy.
So it sounds smart.
And it sounds so bad that you're not listening when anyone else is saying.
That's not true.
Because, you started to make the same point that Jeremy made about if you add Giannis to Bam, they added Jimmy Butler to Bam, and they got to the finals, and it did make the point that Jeremy. Yeah, but you're sounding smart because you're just parroting Jeremy, who
is smart.
Who I don't want to hear from as much when you.
That's why I jumped in.
You, him, and Cody are being homers. You're being like you sound. Chris Cody is here saying, everybody settle down. You're getting mad at the national media. Why would the national media have an interest in getting Giannis to Boston? They're making the argument that Giannis, from a basketball perspective, that's a better landing spot. Are you guys arguing against that? That just as a roster, that the team that won the championship most recently and passed the Miami Heat in ways that were obvious that that's a better team for him to go to than the one that he would be coming to down here.
Yes.
Dan, you're talking about a team that won the championship back then. A lot of those guys aren't there anymore, right? Like, you got Derek White, who's going to turn 32. You got Peyton Pritchard, who's a good player. But you're talking about Hugo Gonzalez and Neemias Queta. Like, those are the guys that Giannis is going to be joining, where all of a sudden it's better than the Heat.
Guys, that team was better than the Heat without Tatum all of last season. Like
they were fugazi.
They were. He's right about that.
Yeah, what happened? What happened to that team?
It was better than the Heat.
The broken Sixers took that ass.
It was better.
It was.
Than the Heat.
Where to get him?
Without Jason Tatum the entirety of the season.
With Jaylen Brown.
We had Andrew Wiggins.
Good. Hang up your better than the Heat in the regular season banner.
You guys sound, and this is early for this, because there are very few things that have changed more in sports over my lifetime covering it than the obsession with the transaction. LeBron, I think, birthed all of that, but it becomes lunacy. So I'm sure there are many in our audience who are like, these guys are talking about Giannis again, but it has escalated. And we did just watch the last time this happened with Damian Lillard. Like, we watched the Boston media try to make sure that Damian Lillard didn't get to Miami with every opinion they had. Now, these are not Boston guys you're playing. Perkins is, but Broussard and Nick Wright are not Boston guys. Like, I understand where Perk is coming from. Do you have the sound of how he used to say Adebayo and how he now says Adebayo?
Bam Adebayo.
See, that was the first time, right? Like, that's not this time. That was the first time.
That is this time.
No,
That's this time.
You got to be shitting me.
Bam Adebayo.
Out of the bayou.
Bam Adebayo.
How does that accent not know how to say bayou? Never mind.
Bam Adebayo.
It's not that tough a name.
It really
Adebayo.
isn't, right?
No, it's 3 little syllables.
Bam Adebayo.
I think he's doing a
that
thing.
4.
He's got to be doing a thing, right?
If he's doing a thing, it has to be because he was going to go for bayou there. No? Like, it. I thought the first time he said it. Do you have the first time that he said it? Not on our show, but going back to the first time we played the sound, because I think he's saying it differently than he said it the first time, and I don't think he's doing that on purpose.
I would imagine the first times that he used to say it, he was saying Bayou would be my guess.
I mean, to be fair, even the great Greg Cody sometimes doesn't do his catchphrases the right way.
Yeah, but he's not good at broadcasting and 70-something years old and still hasn't learned anything about what we're doing around here.
But other than that, I'm a real pro.
Do we think that this is an Antetokounmpo situation where he's adding an extra syllable and doing Adebayo, since it's kind of similar to Antetokounmpo?
Oh, I see what you're saying. No, I don't think that.
What do you think is happening here as Roy continues to try and find the way that Kendrick Perkins originally said this the first time we had it? Because I don't think he's doing a thing here. You think he's doing a thing with not being able to pronounce Bam Adebayo?
I think that he has a hard time with some words. Like, remember on draft night, the whole Moses Moody fiasco.
Moody?
Yeah, like I think sometimes he gets a little tongue twisted. And he says the name wrong.
Yeah, I'm trying to put myself in Giannis's shoes right now. He's at an age where he's thinking of the end game a little bit. He's 31. He has won a championship. So now he's looking, where do I want to live? Where do I want to retire? Do I want to live on South Beach? Or do I want to live in Boston?
It's true. It's not a player who hasn't won. And it's like, all right, let's make sure I go to the best situation to win right now. He has won before. He wants to live in South Florida and believes, it doesn't have to be this coming year, but believes over the next 3-4 years, this is the best scenario.
Chad Johnson said that he was shopping for homes in the area. Does anyone know whether that's confirmed or not? He said on Nightcap that Giannis Antetokounmpo was looking for homes. Jeremy, you were exasperated with everything that was being said in here. You were flailing and throwing your hands around. What is it that you wanted to say?
I mean, why are you guys doing what they were doing to Jimmy Butler when he was coming down here? You're making it, he wants to retire there. This would be a good situation for him to join. He'd have a guy in Bam Adebayo that's an even better running mate than Bam was to Jimmy when he joined this team. And remember, when Jimmy Butler joined the Miami Heat, they lost their 2 leading scorers from the year before. in Josh Richardson and Dwayne Wade.
Yeah.
And he joined
Not
a
a
team,
playoff team.
where his starting lineup was Dragic, who was great, a young Adebayo, Justice Winslow.
And a rookie.
Justice Winslow was there. Myers Leonard was starting. That's the team he joined.
Yeah, but
And they went to a championship.
yeah, but
And they were first place for a good portion of the season.
But clearly, like if I said to you, what does Giannis need around him to succeed? You'd say shooting. Like pairing him with Bam just cannot be the best option out there for him.
Why? I don't understand that. Those are the two leading players. Those aren't the only guys who play on the team. Norman Powell was an all-star guard last year who was a really good shooter. Andrew Wiggins had, I believe, a career high shooting from three and had a really good year. That front court would be the best defensive front court in the NBA by a long shot, and you still have room to add other players. I didn't know that once you made a trade, transactions were done.
I mean, think about how much more open these guys are going to get with a guy like Antetokounmpo on the team. Powell last year shot 38% from three, which is very good. Wiggins shot 41%, which is excellent. These are good shooters.
And another thing is that Miami is going to have 2 or 3 very promising young players, not named Kelly Ware, after this trade. And Antetokounmpo is going to make Miami a much more attractive destination for others looking for a new team. So those are both real factors to me as well.
A couple of things that I want to point out about what's been said. If the people listening to this want to laugh at Andrew Wiggins' talk, I understand it. But when Andrew Wiggins was in this position for the Warriors, they won a championship because if Aaron Gordon is your best player, you're Orlando. But if he's your 4th best player, you can win the championship in Denver. If Lamar Odom's your best player with the Clippers, you're not going to be great as a playoff team. But if he's the 4th best player on the Lakers, my guess is that you have a shot when Lamar Odom, someone that versatile, and they did win a championship, is your 4th best player. The things you guys are talking about with Wiggins and Jaquez and Powell and whatever it is that shooting is, the base construction on this is super simple. And if you're making the argument that people would be scared of whatever it is that the Heat do, the argument is this. If you get the top 2 guys, this organization has shown you it's better equipped than most. They'll figure out the rest
what I'm saying.
later.
Yes.
Like whatever has to be done after that, that's what you would fear if anyone were fearing a 10 seed. I just don't think that's what's in play right now. They're laughing at what has been a 10 seed, and they're doing what Stan did yesterday when he was on the show with us, and he's saying, I don't trust that body. Giannis isn't going to hold up. Like, Stan is telling you he had very little enthusiasm for anything Giannis related. He practically yawned while we were asking him about it.
That's what I'm saying. Every time they've acquired one of these superstar players, whether they were a playoff team or not the year before, this organization has put guys around them, and they've gotten to the finals, and sometimes won each time. Shaq, LeBron, Jimmy Butler, they always got to the championship round.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's the best. Spoelstra is the best coach in the NBA in the post-Popovich era, and I don't think there's any question about that. And that has to be a factor to Giannis as well.
With the factor of him being one of the great players in the league, this national media is so scared that they're now trying to diminish how great Giannis is. Check out Mike Wilbon.
Tony, this is interesting to me because I don't believe in Giannis anymore. Giannis is a rumor. Giannis hadn't done jack in the months that matter, which would be May and June since 2021. 5 years is forever in professional sports. Giannis is a multiple-time MVP, a great player, a Hall of Famer, and as you said, a champion. He was that. Yeah. I ain't seen evidence of it. Sorry, a league can now, particularly the NBA, it can pass you by. And with a ton of wings who are 6'9", 6'10" sort of size, DeBanza and Caleb Wilson and those kids coming in the league, Giannis can look obsolete fairly quickly if he can't get his butt out there and contribute heavily, massively in May, June. And I don't know that. I would not rearrange my franchise for Giannis. Tyler Hero leads his team in scoring. He's an all-star. Yeah. I know he's had some injury issues at times, but he plays more than Giannis lately, and he doesn't seem to be the diva that Giannis is. So if it sounds like I'm piling on Giannis, yeah, a little bit for a guy as a player I used to love. I love him less now because I ain't seen nothing lately.
A lot of damage done by that last Milwaukee season, and a lot of poison coming from the tension in Milwaukee, the soap opera that makes Giannis the millionaire who's spoiled, who makes a mess on his way out. And so you get a lot of analysis that gets forgetful. I wonder, with our short attention spans, when Wilbon says that 5 years is forever in sports, more recently, the lack of patience for anything around here makes it that you discredit a 31-year-old champion that way, who's a legitimate immortal, like is a player that is top 50 for all time. Faster than ever, we will get to you're not an immortal anymore if you have one season where you're statistically good, but it looks like Milwaukee.
He said he was worried about AJ DeBanza and Caleb Wilson instead of Giannis. Caleb Wilson? Did you see him?
Look, Wilbon can have the opinion that he doesn't believe in Giannis anymore because he hasn't played so much recently, but he doesn't get to make up his own facts. Like when you say that he's played more than Tyler Hero recently, no, this past year, Giannis played more than Tyler Hero. 3 years ago, no, Giannis played a lot more than Tyler Hero.
I will not have the greatness of Giannis Antetokounmpo disparaged in a way that gets both forgetful and disrespectful. The last 7 years before the last one, he finished top 4 in MVP voting. It's just a fact. You do with it what you wish, okay? I'm telling you, last year did a lot of damage. The last 7 years before that, top 4 in MVP voting. It's simply a fact. I'm not going to get strident about it. You really shouldn't do that to Giannis. It's disrespectful in this age of mastery where people are so great that you're like, I don't believe in Giannis anymore.
Kind of strident.
You can do this with the injury and health if you want. You can't do it with the greatness of the play.
And by the way, the year that did all of this damage to Giannis's reputation, he averaged 27 points, 11 rebounds, 5 assists.
It's stupid. And I don't say that very often. But let's hear from Kendrick Perkins the first time he ever tried to say Bam Adebayo on the air.
Bam out of the bayou.
See, I thought that might have been on purpose because out of the bayou is a compliment. It's a bit of a nickname, I would say. If is he indeed out of the bayou?
Bam out of the bayou. 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 Bam out of the bayou.
There's a song there.
He hasn't been able to perfect the first syllable. You know, he's gotten the last syllable. He's okay there. But it's the first syllable, out of the.
Bam out of the bayou.
I'm going to continue to tell you to be careful with the doing of black voices, black accents.
I didn't even do it.
I'm not saying you did it there. I'm just telling you that you should be careful with some of that.
Oh my God, we did it! Oh my God!
Yeah, be careful.
Was that me or Jason Tatum? Oh my God, we did it! Oh my God!
So I'm just going to keep telling you to be careful with that. Doesn't Kendrick Perkins seem to you like somebody who is out of the bayou, even if he isn't out of the bayou?
Yes, for sure. I see him like cooking a big old alligator.
He said he's a country boy.
But it's just his accent I'm talking about and his general way of being. If I told you that was somebody from New Orleans, you'd be like, yeah, it aligns. It makes sense. I'm glad that we have Greg Cody here because, as I've told you for a number of days now, he really is a soccer expert, has been for a long time, 50 years covering the sport in this town. To see the excellence of Messi in a way that to me still confounds, right? Because he's clearly seeing things, Greg, that no one else sees on a soccer field. And he clearly can keep the ball closer to his foot more efficiently than anyone in the sport's history. Like the control that he has, the sniper's precision that he has, that he could score 3 goals last night at the age of 38. Did Germany have someone with a hat trick? Has anyone else had a hat trick in the tournament?
No, but this is what made yesterday so remarkable to me. Earlier in the day, Norway's 25-year-old superstar Erling Haaland scores 2 goals in his first World Cup ever. Great show. Story of the day. A little bit later, who else scores 2 goals? Kylian Mbappe of France scores 2 goals. Brilliant. Story of the day. And then Messi, a week before turning 39, scores 1, 2, 3 goals in a 3-0 victory for Argentina. At 30, he's brilliant. He's brilliant. And I don't care. I'll argue with anybody that he's as good as he's ever been. Everybody thought he was coming to Miami to retire in MLS. Now he's on the big stage. And he is showing who he is at 30. I'm going to call him 39 because June 24th he becomes 39. He's absolutely brilliant.
What a day for the World Cup yesterday, as you pointed. The three of the biggest stars in the tournament shining for their countries. Yeah. Just like if you were complaining about the World Cup in the previous few days, yesterday was just a chef's kiss. Yes. I cannot believe I'm a year older than Messi. That made me really sad. But how do you imagine World Cup Inter Miami fans are thinking with Messi yesterday? You feel good about yourself being all stubborn with him a couple weeks back, not cheering for him? You have the best player on the planet. I know he's older, not technically the best player anymore, but he's still the best player on the planet. I just was laughing at Inter Miami fans yesterday as he gets a hat trick in the World Cup because of their pettiness a couple weeks back.
Speaking of fans, Zaz, Norwegian fans.
Oh, Dan, I'm watching that Norway-Iraq game. Norway? They got great fans.
I got a list, Dan, of Zaz's great fans of the World Cup tournament. He said Brazilian fans he loved.
Oh, great fans.
Colombian fans.
South Korean fans he loved.
Yeah.
Scotland.
Mexican fans in the kickoff game he loved them. Norway fans.
Colombia's
Great
tonight,
fans.
Dan. That's when we'll learn about
I'll
their
check
fans.
the fans out. I'll let you know.
I'm sure you will like them as well. I promise you. When you mentioned the play from yesterday, Chris, did it say you're an expert on your father? The Greg Cody Show featuring Greg Cody is produced by Yeti Blanc and Chris Cody. You're an expert on your father. You noticed, as I did, that your father was either very excited or almost nervous when talking about Messi and said that he was brilliant several times. Do you have an analysis from over there on what was happening with your father? Because he had the ball and it felt like he was speeding up and it felt like old man's enthusiasm, that he was just very excited to get to talk about Messi. And he just kept saying brilliant over and over again. And do I have it right? Did
he work in a pitch? Just trying to use football, soccer terms?
First of all, you may not know it. The word brilliant applies. If you want me to be more analytical, this is a 5'8" guy who's one of the world's best dribblers. He keeps the ball close to his foot. It's a chess match out there, and he sees 2 moves ahead, whether he's making a pass or whether he's on the receiving end of a pass, or, as with one of his goals yesterday, he anticipated that a pass was going to be deflected, and he was in position to punch in the deflection. He thinks like nobody else thinks, and that's why at age 39, he can still be brilliant. He's not as good physically as he was, but that, too, is part of his brilliance, and I keep using the word because he also knows how to contain his energy by walking when necessary. He walks more than almost anybody else on the field.
It's amazing. It is really amazing. Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Have you ever been amazed by a legend's walking? Because he mills about loitering more than anyone I've ever seen in soccer. Just sort of, rummaging around, looking at the produce,
what's going on over there?
Checking an avocado, squeezing an avocado, just walking around, and then next thing you know, he sees something no one else sees, and he's scoring 3 goals.
That because he conserves his energy, and so he has the burst. He has the 30, 40-yard burst for a guy his age, which is remarkable.
He actually had one 10-yard burst where he was trying to save a ball from going out of bounds. And my daughter, who's really into this World Cup, was like, whoa, that him sprinting was like a shocking thing to see because he uses it so infrequently.
How'd you feel about
It's a play on.
that
It's a play on.
Because it's the opposite point that you're making when the first thing you said.
When you dismount a point, you usually want to make the point you're making as opposed to the opposite.
I'm rattled because you listed
Ref
me.
called play on.
You
We're
listed
good.
me second after Yeti on the Greg Cody Show, so I was kind of rattled after that.
When we talk about the conserving of energy, I'm curious, have you guys heard in the analysis of the NBA Finals Have you guys heard anything about the analysis being tied to, instead of some sort of youth or mental frailty on the Spurs, the idea that you're not going to have your jump shot if you're really tired at the end of games, at the end of a long season? Like, that it's not that the Spurs didn't know what to do at the end. It's that fatigue makes cowards of us all, and they were more tired for whatever the reason is, because Brunson is better at not being tired late in the game, while people have talked about Wemby's conditioning problems. I think I've told you before, Michael Irvin's definition for discipline, when he was getting into all sorts of trouble off the field and people were saying distraction and idiot and doesn't have focus and doesn't care about football, what he said about discipline is, no, man, discipline isn't what I'm doing over there. Discipline is the fourth quarter. It's hot as hell. I've been playing all game against this guy, and now there's a hard count, and I don't jump off sides because the tired didn't affect my judgment. Have you guys heard a lot about the idea from anywhere that the Spurs, at the end of a long season, playing physically against that team, that it wasn't that they didn't know how to win at the end of all 5 of the games. It's that at the end of all 5 of the games, they were more tired than the Knicks.
I've heard specifically to Wembanyama that the Spurs, Mitch Johnson, they did not do a good job preparing him for those minutes. I mean, he averaged like 29 minutes a game, I think, in the regular season, and he averaged 29 minutes a game the first 2 series of the playoffs as well. And then all of a sudden, starting against Oklahoma City, he's playing 39 minutes of the game. So I have heard pertaining to Wembanyama that they did not do a good job preparing him for that.
That's a great point, Zaz. And also, if you look back at what Mike Brown and then even before that, Tom Thibodeau was able to do, he was able to grind the Knicks into 5. You know, you got your starters, you're going to play 40-some-odd minutes. And that kind of grind, that kind of boot camp allows you to be ready for massive minutes late in the season.
Listen, people could say what they want about the way Pat Riley used to drill the Miami Heat in those days, but he did it so that the practices were harder than the game.
That sounds like a big excuse. When you say that we were tired or they were, you're giving them an excuse when you say they were tired, too tired to make a jumper. Both teams played 100 games, okay? Both teams played the same number of games.
Why can't it be an explanation, though? Why does it have to be an excuse?
Because you have Wembanyama a few days ago saying something to the effect, I think we dominated a lot of that series. Okay, I don't think you can say we dominated a lot of that series and then nod your head when somebody says, were you tired?
Ultimately, I saw someone say online that really the reason that Wemby was tired is because normally he goes to bed at 9 o'clock. We all talk about that. He goes to bed at 9. Roy, I know you were talking about it yesterday, that you were struggling only working on 3 hours of sleep. And if Wemby's sleep was really thrown off, I mean, there's nothing better in the world than getting a good night of sleep. You know what?
Night.
I think a good night of sleep, I think that's worth a toast.
A good 8 hours?
And Worth a Toast is presented by Cuervo. Wow. Keep it fun. Keep it Cuervo. Enjoy your sleep.
Good 8 hours. Was like a shocking thing to see because he uses it so infrequently.
Chris Cody and Roy revealed this to me. And Roy, I don't know the context of what it is that you guys were talking about that revealed this about Chris Cody.
Yeah, Chris asked me what the sound from the first down for the Dolphins games were. And I said
it's just a noise I've made throughout my entire life. It's just like I just did it. Hoo-wah!
Yeah.
And to me, that's another Miami Dolphins first down.
Well, let's find out. Let's find out if your dad knows, because he's not a real moviegoer. Instead of impersonating the sound, do you have the actual sound? Greg Cody, do you know who's making this sound?
Hoo-ah! I do.
Clark Gable.
Come on.
It's the famous actor.
Rock Hudson.
Oh, this is great. He doesn't know it.
No, it's the famous actor. And I got to pin his name down because I don't think
you should be able to say this immediately.
I don't think it's Robert De Niro,
no.
But I think it's
in the neighborhood.
In the neighborhood. Give me a second. Robert De Niro.
Humphrey
Al Pacino.
Hey, there you go.
If someone said that in his headphones, you're fired.
Now,
No,
what movie?
nobody said
what
that.
movie?
It's APAC. What movie?
Streetcar Named Desire.
You ain't you. No, you're not man enough to know the truth. Something like
No.
That's A Few
That's
Good
the one I
Men,
bought.
and that's A Few Good Men.
Good answer. Good answer.
And it's not, you're not man enough to know the truth. I
you can't handle the truth.
Don't know.
That's it's a different movie. Pacino was not in
You're
it.
not man enough to know the truth.
That was originally a line. Nicholson ad-libbed. They
Put
kept
it on the poll
that
at
was
Le
Nicholson.
Batard Show. Was Pacino in A Few Good Men? Was a blind Pacino?
Okay, who did he say? Who
Dad
said
on a
hoo-ah
hot
in
tin
what
roof.
movie?
Let's keep going. Let's see how long it takes you to get.
Play it again.
I think did he win an Oscar? I think
Yes.
he won an Oscar
Yes, he
for
won
this.
Best Actor.
Yes.
Bull Durham.
No.
Good answer. Good answer.
Put it on the
Raging
poll.
Bull. Raging
Put it on
Bull.
the poll.
Raging
No.
It's a bull movie.
Just naming De Niro movies.
Red Bull. I don't know.
Put it on the poll. Was a blind Pacino in Bull Durham?
Chicago Bull.
And put it on the poll as well. Was a blind Pacino in Raging Bull? First of all, it's a really random thing to have stick in a dolphin.
I say it all the time.
No, but it's been for 30 years. That movie's 30 years old. I don't want to tell him what the movie is. Keep guessing, Greg. Keep trying to guess what the Al Pacino movie. How many Oscars has Pacino won? Because he
A Few Good Men.
you already guessed that, and we already told you that it's not A Few Good Men.
Okay.
And you're not man enough to handle the truth.
Right. Okay.
Classic line.
It's got a military theme to it. I just can't come up with a name.
It's not a military theme, but I think he's a former military guy.
Okay, Dad.
He was a colonel.
There you go.
Patton.
Colonel Sanders. I don't know. I'm never going to get it. I don't know movies.
Wow, it's his only Academy Award.
The
Greg doesn't know
scent
movies.
of a
Woman. See? I told you I was going to get it.
Your son had no idea where that sound
Where I
was
get it
from.
from.
This is
really?
2 generations of idiot. Pop
No.
culture idiot.
I knew it was Al Pacino.
Greg, you cannot listen
said
to
De
what you
Niro.
just did for the last 4 minutes and say that that is some sort of expertise that you're bragging about.
First of all, I speak for moviegoers in general. Al Pacino and De Niro are always interchangeable. They're always mistaken for each other. They're the same person.
De Niro could not have been the devil.
They've won the same awards. They're like the same people.
They were only in one scene together, like in their movie careers.
I know, but they're parallel lives. And you know it.
Put it on the poll. Do you often confuse De Niro and Pacino, and you know it? At Le
And you
Batard
know it.
Show.
You're going to have to wait for that one.
Exactly.
That was staggering. Even by the standards of the Greg Cody Show featuring Greg Cody, where your son Michael asks you movie questions and you flail and fail and get them all wrong. Even by those standards, that was an amazing amount of ignorance.
Nick, before we let you talk about the Steelers, you're in luck because we have the Love Doctor. The Love Doctor is here. He is ready. He is in his office right now. Dr. Greg Cody getting everybody ready for Mother's Day this weekend. And we have questions. The Love Doctor is going to have the answers. Who's up first?
I know a lot of people are going to come to you and they're going to want to know, how do you keep it interesting? Me, I'm not interested in interesting. So how do you keep it predictable? How do you keep it ho-hum? How do you just let it just be?
Was that Jason Tatum asking that question?
Young lady, you are my kind of gal. That's my lane. That's my lane of romance. I invented predictable. Nobody has perfected the art of dull routine like yours truly. As a matter of fact, little inside information here, my wife and I schedule our naughty time months in advance, like doctor's appointments. Quite often, she'll have to cancel because she said something came up. Unfortunately, sometimes I'll have to cancel because something didn't come up. That kind of thing.
It's good luck for us.
Do we have another question for the Love Doctor here after such great advice?
With Chris listening.
Oh, we're doing it, baby.
What are you guys doing, man?
Oh, you want question number 2?
Yeah, let's go question number 2.
Oh, yeah, Greg. Hey, man, I need your help, man. So I'm out of town for Mother's Day, trying to figure out what can I get my girl for Mother's Day in another city.
Oh, wow. Buddy, I'm worried about this. Not one, but 2 of the Love Doctor's marriages began rending like cheap fabric when Greg was either out of town at a sporting event or away at a doctoral conference. And the exes were doing the clandestine bumpy bump behind my back. Jack, I suggest you get your girl, which you'd never expect, a private eye to keep an eye on her randy ass.
You know about that randy ass, Nick? This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
You guys know, if you've been listening to for a while to this, that I'm like perpetually confused about some of the things happening in journalism. So when Zaslow yesterday says none of the reporters reporting on any of the Giannis stuff know anything, it seems to me, even though it feels accurate, wrong. Like morally wrong for a bunch of people in journalism to be talking about this at all times and to leave you with the impression that nobody talking about anything has any expertise or information that's real. So I want to know who you guys trust when Gary Washburn of the Boston Globe says flatly the Celtics are not shopping Jaylen Brown. This is a reporter for a newspaper. I know Greg and I, if somebody does it for a newspaper because of where our standards are, we know that stuff has to be vetted. We know that stuff has to be accurate. You know you're not allowed to make up sources. You're not allowed to make shit up. You can make shit up on radio. You can make shit up on television. That's not something you can do in newspapers. So for me, when a newspaper reporter says that, I tend to believe it, but I think Greg and I are in the minority on this. I don't think most people, when I say Gary Washburn of the Boston Globe says flatly, the Celtics are not shopping Jaylen Brown. And then I see all over television, here's why Jaylen Brown should be hurt. Here's why he should be insulted. Who's got it right?
I mean, Dan, this is why I do believe that my explanation for why I said that yesterday, that these people, they don't know anything. My rationale for that is because, like you said, on TV, people are saying something different. I think that this is the only story right now in the NBA. Finals are over. This is the story, and it's going to carry us for the next week until the draft. And if your employer looks at you and says, what do you got? This is the big story. Do you have any rumors? Do you have any intel? Do you have any sources? You got to come up with something.
Not rumors. It's not supposed to be rumors.
I know.
I don't know this reporter, but I do know the reputation of the Boston Globe. It's one of the greatest papers and one of the greatest sports sections in American print journalism, if there's any of that left. But I also know that sometimes a reporter's best source misleads. Sometimes you talk to an agent, and the agent has his ulterior motive for what he's telling you. I'm not saying that's the case here, but it can be the case a lot of
when
times.
I'm talking, though, about the erosion of standards all the time around here, and I want to ask you guys this because it's a silly little thing in sports, but we are in a misinformation time. We are in a time where it's getting more and more confusing to know what's true on the internet, what's a fact and what's not a fact. I'm just curious what the audience does with Greg and I know, because we come from newspapers, the consequences and danger of getting things wrong in a newspaper. It's not like radio. Colin Cowherd says it pays to be loud wrong. Like, it's not like television. You can get it wrong all the time. The standard is different, but the standard is one that no one cares about anymore. The standard isn't dying. The standard is dead. So when I ask you, Who's got the right information on what you care about most? That's the best story in sports, the biggest story in sports. Who's got the most credible information? What do you do with the fact that Greg and I are over here on an island saying, well, I believe newspaper reporters, but when I say to this audience, Gary Washburn of the Boston Globe, they all say, no, Kendrick Perkins knows more, or Gasbag X knows more, or Nick Wright knows more, or nobody listening to this, I think, says Gary Washburn of the Boston Globe is more credible than all of these people who have bigger, better platforms with more reach. And in the erosion of that standard, truth gets lost. Like, it just evaporates.
Is it as simple as, and Gary Washburn, by the way, very credible NBA guy, all right? Is it as simple as Gary Washburn doesn't have to fill up time? The guys on television, your show's happening no matter what. From this time to this time, every day, Monday through Friday, this show is happening whether you have information or not, so you better have some information.
Right. But I just mentioned sometimes your source is an agent who has an ulterior motive. Sometimes your source is with the team that wants a certain message put out there. Okay, if the Boston Celtics want to put out there that they're not thinking of trading Brown, then maybe they feed that line.
But don't those reporters, isn't from experience, can't they usually, like, they understand what you're saying?
Right.
Right?
Right. They do. And normally you'd have more than one source on a story of this size. But the other thing is, it can be a very fluid story. Like what is written one day can become not true 2 days later because circumstances change.
I'm asking you, though, you're offering me all the qualifiers. And what I'm telling you, Greg, is no. You can't go to print with what a source says if you haven't verified it and think it's a lie. No. The standard that you're talking about right now, you're lowering it to where I'm saying the standard has been all of my life on reporter, not columnist, not opinion person.
Right.
And this is a distinction I don't think most people make. I don't think that the grand majority of people listening to this make any sort of distinction between the person who's in a newspaper who's giving you facts and the person who's on television giving you opinions.
I think most diehard sports fans know that difference. I think the casual sports fan 100% thinks what Nick Wright is saying is just as informed as reporters. But I do think the diehard sports fan can tell the difference between a guy giving opinions on TV and a guy who's breaking news.
So if I ask this audience right now that the polling's going to go well for Gary Washburn of the Boston Globe if I put him against any
over
of the...
Kendrick Perkins, who do you trust more to break news in the NBA?
No. Who's more credible? Not break news. Who's more credible? Their information is correct. When you start skewing the lines between facts and opinions and you give the bigger platforms and the bigger rewards to the people who are giving opinions, facts get lost. They get drowned. When you're giving all the money to the people who have to fill the time with rumors, with I've got to have a hot take, like what gets lost in that avalanche is there's just no way, none, that this audience thinks Gary Washburn of the Boston Globe is more credible than Chris Broussard, than Nick Wright, than Kendrick Perkins.
Bam, out of the bayou.
And you think so, really?
I believe that. Do you guys think I'm wrong?
I think I think you're wrong to an extent. Maybe you're underestimating the audience a little bit there. Like maybe the super casual, like really uninformed fan says, "Hey, that guy's on television. He must know the most." But I don't think you're giving the audience enough credit in that spot.
My credibility vote would go to Washburn in this case with very little hesitation. But I also acknowledge that chances are Kendrick Perkins has a good friend who knows Jaylen Brown very well, more so than Washburn does. You know what I mean? Like Kendrick Perkins probably has more inside information in terms of knowing somebody who knows Jaylen Brown directly.
The problem becomes that the facts guy are usually boring and you don't put them on TV. The hot take guy is the entertainment of what you want to watch. Gary, God bless his heart, Gary Washburn might be a great guy, but he might be kind of boring. That's why he's not there with Kendrick Perkins. That's why he's writing a column on the Boston Globe. Dan, I think the thing that skews it and goes back to your original point, thank you, Chris, is if you put Boston Globe in parentheses on the poll, I think people will be like, oh, okay, yeah, I get that. If you put Gary Washburn, nobody knows who that is, respectfully.
Put it on the
to
poll
him and
then.
his family.
Put it on the poll. Who's more credible? Wait till you see how this one comes back. Who's more credible, Gary Washburn of the Boston Globe, Kendrick Perkins.
Bam out of the
bayou.
But I feel like we could word that differently. Just the blanket statement of credible, I think you're going to win. But if I put who do you trust more on NBA news? Yeah. Kendrick or Gary Washburn?
That's not the same thing.
I'm telling you, though, you just like
those are different things.
No, but blanket credibility, because it's just like, oh, he played in the NBA, he's got to be credible on the NBA. If we're talking about breaking news, I trust your information.
But credibility on what? Like credibility on what to buy?
Like who?
At the
Like
store?
who played better today? Okay, obviously Kendrick's more credible.
At the store.
Yeah.
Whose information is more accurate? What do you mean, yeah? How can you defend that you jumped up in the air?
Danny.
How can you defend that you jumped up in the air with what you thought was an analogy, then you just said...
What do you mean, like the produce section?
Yeah,
Oranges?
that's right. Who's got more credibility in picking the apples? Don't have any
is what I
bruises.
just saw, right?
The melons?
Zaz jumped up in the air for an alley-oop. He grabbed the ball and threw it out of bounds. Like, he did not have any idea what to do with
He's
the
got
ball.
more credibility picking the bananas that don't have the bruises. That's important.
The avocados that aren't ripe enough. The fact that we don't know what facts are anymore, that part is skewed. The idea, and I know, Greg, that you and I are going to be biased about this, and I'm not going to lament it anymore after this inside of this segment, but the fact that the person watching this, that Zaslow's saying to me, Dan, you're underestimating the audience here. What I'm doing is actually talking about people I've talked to over 30 years who don't care about newspapers the way I do, and I'm always sort of marveling that they don't make a distinction between what the columnist does and what the beat reporter does, that nobody cares about journalists as much as journalists do. Nobody thinks about this stuff very much at all. So when I tell you, Kendrick Perkins, if he tells you Jaylen Brown is going to be traded, and if Gary Washburn tells you or writes Jaylen Brown is going to be traded, I believe that we've gotten to the point now, it's taken a long time, that more of the fans believe Kendrick Perkins just because he's got the louder microphone, the louder megaphone than of the Boston Globe. That means something to me and Greg. That makes Roy make dinosaur sounds when we talk about poor Gary Washburn of the Boston Globe, and I want to put it on the poll, please, at Le Batard Show. Bless his heart, Gary Washburn, yes or no?
Bless his heart.
I would bless his heart.
Might be great.
Yeah, I would bless
Tony,
his heart.
I've never heard you say that, you preface a point you're making with a bless his heart.
Yeah.
Why did Gary Washburn, of all people you've ever talked about,
why did you bless his heart?
Yeah, because, bless his heart. Like,
you don't even know him.
I don't know him. Like, I picture him kind of like a Greg Cody.
Can you
like,
bless someone's heart that you know?
I do enough.
But why? It's a good question by Zaz, okay? I want to know what you think you were avoiding by sending blessings toward the heart of Gary Washburn.
I just wanted to throw that in the beginning just in case if I came down hard on him, I had the blessings on the front end.
It's
right?
the same thing as the Broussard and all these sounds of like, oh, Spoelstra, a good coach, great place, but don't go there. You're just undercutting everything you say right before it.
It's just like I was going to call him not entertaining, not knowing him. He might be great at parties.
So you blessed his heart.
So I blessed his heart on the front end.
It's accurate.
Kendrick Perkins doesn't need the blessing of his heart. He's entertaining. He's good. I don't have to worry about that.
I condone Tony's blessing
Thank you,
of the heart of Washburn. If Washburn's in the room here and sneezes, I bless him.
Here's why I don't condone the blessing of his heart. This is the reason I don't.
You're anti-blessing his heart?
I am, and I'll tell you why. I'm against the blessing of the heart of Gary Washburn, and I've got conviction about my stance here. I will not bless the heart of Gary Washburn because that's pity you put in a costume. That's insult. You condescended Gary Washburn. You pitied his heart as weaker than your heart and said, God bless it, my heart's better. That was an insult that you disguised as a God blessing.
That's how I get the dollar back from the cashier.
But then you got a penny. You did fraud where you took a penny from the cashier by confusing the person with the math. And what you just did was you blessed the heart of Gary Washburn and you covered it in pity. And he doesn't want your pity.
He might be a great reporter, and I think he is. He may not be an entertaining guy on TV. That's why I gave the blessing on the front end. Hey, bless his heart. He's not as exciting as Kendrick Perkins on TV. He might be at parties. He might bring the wine and have a great time. I don't know.
That's Tony knowing and viewing himself as more entertaining than Gary Washburn. That's what that is. It's not just Kendrick Perkins. It's I know I'm
Is that it?
entertaining, so
Say
I've
what you
got to
mean.
dish out some pity there to
Say what you mean.
good old Gary Washburn.
Speaks the truth.
He would want a blessed heart.
Thank you.
Gary
Not wrapped in
Washburn.
pity. He doesn't
Yes.
want Tony's pity. Why does Gary
It's not
Washburn
pity.
want Tony's
I
pity?
don't hear it as pity.
It is.
Thank you, Greg.
What do you-
Blessing
Is it
someone's
pity or
heart.
is it not pity?
It's definitely not pity.
Not pity.
Put it on the poll. Who's more entertaining, Tony or Gary Washburn? Also, who's more credible? 2 separate polls.
What? Yeah.
He's setting me up both, by the way. He's setting me up for both.
Zaz, to the larger point around all of this stupidity, when you can't trust that the information is accurate, is it fair in any way for Jaylen Brown to experience as the part of doing business that everyone is considering whether or not he's being shopped, even though if Gary Washburn and his blessed heart are right, the truth is they're not shopping Jaylen Brown. If that is indeed the truth and we are making a bunch of content out of it, does that seem fair to you in any way?
No, and this is also why I believe this deal is going to be done very soon. Because the longer that you keep this out there, the longer that the Celtics continue to poke around, and see if we can get a deal done without even including Jaylen Brown, the longer it goes on, the further away you get from being able to keep Jaylen Brown moving forward next season, because it's like, hey, you were considering this way too long before you decided you love me and want to keep me, and it's why I think this deal is going to happen soon.
Ramona Shelburne is credible, yes.
Yeah.
Everyone comes from writing. Her information is almost never wrong. She says that teams around the league believe Jaylen Brown being available is just speculation. Quote, what I've heard from teams around the league, it's just more speculation. I think the Boston Celtics would tell you that they love Jaylen Brown. All this is leverage, though. All this is a moment of maximum leverage. If I were the Heat, this would all make me wildly uncomfortable because the most desperate team in this equation is the Miami Heat in terms of just sheer desperation. They've been out there for a long time bothering Tyler Hero and anyone who's on their team because they're like, yep, it would appear, even though we don't say anything, we're all in on Giannis. You know that we are thinking about Giannis. All of the reports say that, and their offer, whether it's been the same or not, hasn't been good enough for the Bucks for many, many months.
I disagree with you. I don't believe that.
They would have made the trade if the offer was good enough.
No, I don't believe that because Milwaukee was not in a rush to make the trade. Milwaukee knew if they waited till the end of the season, at the very least, we get an extra draft pick out of Miami.
But now they're still waiting because they're waiting to see if the offer can be made better by anyone. Like that. Otherwise, they would have already taken the offer. Why wouldn't they already? They would have already taken it if they weren't saying, no, this offer, we might settle for it, but this offer, the way that it is, no, we're going to see what else comes in. We have time to see what else comes in.
But Milwaukee owns the grand prize right now. They're not incentivized to rush their decision. They have time because the offers will, if there is competition, if Boston really is in this with Miami, there's the longer they wait, the better the offers are going to get.
Milwaukee's deadline's draft day.
Right.
Like that's like so. Yeah, I'm with you. They're in no rush until Tuesday of next week. That's the deadline.
And for everybody talking about the Miami Heat's package and Khalil Ware and Hakas and Tyler Hero and all the picks and stuff, if you're talking about a non-Jaylen Brown trade for the Boston Celtics, you're talking about Vucevic, you're talking about Derek White, Peyton Pritchard.
It's not good.
Like, there's nothing there.
No, it's got to be with Jaylen Brown or it doesn't work. Like, that's the reason that people are talking about it, and that's the reason that there's a difference between all of the reporting. But when we talk about the opinion makers, and you just heard Wilbon crush Giannis, and you heard an assortment of others get very forgetful about what this player is, I will just remind you that we still have this sound from all of the experts as it regarded Jalen Brunson going to the Knicks.
Jalen Brunson isn't the answer.
It's an awful idea.
And for what? To go all in hopes of signing Jalen Brunson?
And by the way,
He's not a 1. I'm not even sure he's a real 2.
And I worry that they're gonna look at Jalen Brunson. And they're like, wait, we've spent $27 million a year on this?
I think the Thunder are going to destroy them.
The saddest sweepstakes ever. The Jalen Brunson sweepstakes. Is Jalen Brunson one of the 10 best point guards in basketball? Maybe he's 10.
I don't think he's top 10. I mean, he might not be top 14.
I don't think this is a move that puts them into playoff contention.
It's got to be something in addition to Jalen Brunson.
But it is not going to be the type of player that elevates them into contender status.
But, I mean, do we think Brunson is a guy that is going to bring them to a second-round playoff series? He's not.
I think the Thunder are going to destroy them.
I mean, Kevin Durant is playing basketball in New York City, and you're just, like, talking about, can we get Brunson?
I think the Thunder are going to destroy them.
The Knicks are acting like he's KD. I'm going to repeat, Jalen Brunson.
I heard a lot of voices in there, one in particular that had some bad takes.
Are you thinking the same as I am?
I am. And I'm thinking of the
Let's
guy.
on the count of 3. Let's say it.
1, 2, 3.
Nick Wright. Yep.
Guy had some bad takes on Brunson, and we got to listen to him now about Giannis not being able to go to the Heat.
Good timing, Dad.
He's very close to getting banned, Dan. Closer than he was last time.
That is, in terms of voices and resume, a who's who of everyone got that shit really wrong.
Yep.
Like that is nuts. Given the result, given what you just saw happening in the NBA, my guess is that you can't do that to any player who's ever won a championship in free agency. My guess is that we will not be able to find a library of sound that is quite that damning
in any sport.
From that, that's just a who's who of voices you recognize that just got it all spectacularly wrong. Everybody there was saying that Brunson could only be what we've already seen him be, which is no better than the second round.
One voice I didn't hear there who was spectacularly wrong, I didn't hear Gary Washburn's voice.
It's because his heart was blessed.
You're welcome.
This is a heart.
What do you mean, because his heart was blessed? His heart was blessed after that. That's not because his heart was blessed. You were just trying to make a...
You don't know that.
You were just trying to make a heart as blessed, Joe's, when you heard Gary Washburn and it didn't have anything behind it.
You don't know when that montage was made.
That's right.
I do know when it was made.
You saying Roy can't get it done that quick?
You blessed the heart of Gary Washburn again because you just wanted to go back to that joke even though you didn't have anything behind that joke.
It's a good joke.
It was a good joke the first 9 times that we made it. You went back to it, and you could have made it well, but you did not. Yeah. Kind of like Jeremy did that toast at the end of the first hour.
Come on. Everybody loves some sleep. Dan, I know you love sleep.
You toasted sleep.
A good night's sleep?
Got to get my 12 hours.
Wemby goes to bed at 9.
We have to do the product placement better than that.
That was a real thing. I would have said whether there was a toast or not. Shout out to Cuervo.
We have to you have to get better at the product placement there. You toasted sleep well beyond the clock's expiration on our hour because you just forced in a read and then you gave it a broadcaster's cheesy schmarm on it, a toast.
It's just how I talk.
No, that's not
so heavy-handed.
No, that's not.
I am heavy-handed.
Jeremy, it's not how you talk. It's how you talk on television.
Yeah,
what are you talking about, Dan? I never overact.
All right. Enough.
It's not how you talk. And
I get paid the medium bucks to do that, all right?
Let's hear you, Marlins fans. Let's do it.
All right. Now we're too close to the bone.
They're going babies in the air.
That was authentic.
Greg, I want to admonish you for what I believe to be bad parenting. Your son, Christopher Cody, while allegedly an adult, but actually one of my boyfriends, is somebody who doesn't know how to behave in some very easy circumstances. And I don't know if Chris Cody has gotten more criticized for any behavior. I don't know if you have a top 5 list of behaviors that you've been criticized for around here. But him leaving the shopping cart wherever it is that he wants at the grocery store without taking it back has gotten him very criticized. Do you do that?
I try not to.
Okay, so you do that.
No, as Damashek would say.
No, you can either do it or you don't do it.
No, that's not true.
Unless
he could be in the middle.
No, you can't be in the middle on this.
If I park,
you can be sometimes.
If I park next to the corral and it's convenient for me to bring it back, Jack, I'm gonna bring it back. If I park, 100 yards away from the corral, I'm sorry, I'm not committing a felony here. These people who act like it's the ultimate sign of every bit of disrespect to leave your shopping cart. Why do you think they hire corral rangers to go around the parking lot and bring in the carts? It's the smallest thing to be worried about. It's less than a misdemeanor.
Greg, imagine if it's raining. You barely make it out. It's raining. You barely make it out. You finally get to the car. And what? You're going to go over and you're going to put it all the way back?
That's right.
It's crazy.
That's right.
I'm telling you,
use your common
Dad,
sense.
I'm telling you, the internet will not let you live this down. I said this like 6 years ago, and once a week I still get a tweet about it.
I'm going to float out a theory. I'm not saying that I agree with this. I'm floating out a theory. I'm taking the temperature of the room, okay? Is it possible that the guy or girl who has to go get the carts, that they actually like when the carts aren't all in the same spot? Why? Because it takes more time.
Yes.
And that's closer to getting off.
Bingo. 100%.
Okay, useful rationalization for bad behavior, and
doesn't make it right.
It doesn't make it right, but I haven't even actually gotten to my point because I think this is the second most egregious of your son's offenses, and I want to see if he learned this from you because you tell me which is the worst offense. I'm going to ask this of the audience, and I'm going to ask this of Zaz because I can't believe that your son does something that I believe is worse than the behavior that I think he's been most criticized for by our audience. Your son puts back grocery store items that he takes off of the shelf wherever he is in the store if he no longer wants them.
He puts it wherever?
That's right. Now I have one caveat to this. If it will get ruined by staying out, milk, eggs, something refrigerated, that I'm not a monster. But if I have like a can of cream corn and I get a text from my wife, hey, we got the cream corn, you don't need it, that thing's going back on whatever aisle I'm at.
Good point.
Just if
Good
it
point.
If it can't be ruined,
Wait a minute.
If it can't be ruined, it can go wherever I'm at in the store. It's going from the cart right to the nearest shelf.
So you're putting a can of cream corn next to the toilet paper and paper towels.
Zagak.
Yeah. That ain't right. That's not right. I defended you on the shopping cart.
What's better here? Because there's a couple options here. There's going all the way back to where you got it from, which is just a ridiculous thing to expect.
Impossible.
It's 3 aisles.
The other move is you go to the checkout lane and you just kind of like say,
That's acceptable.
I just don't want this.
Acceptable.
And then they take it.
That is acceptable. That's the way to handle it.
Yeah, but for me, it's just I like to have a cart that I know I'm getting everything in it. I don't want to have this can of cream corn in my cart for the next 7 aisles if I'm not actually going to get it.
Okay, having said that, I used to be friends with a store manager, a grocery store manager.
What happened to the friendship?
They moved to the mountains in North Carolina.
Thank you for that follow-up question.
Anyway,
Chris.
it's a valid question. I could give you his name if you wanted, but you know.
No, yeah, well, you usually do.
Yeah, I know.
And so whatever happened to your friendship with blank?
They moved to the hills of North Carolina. But I want to tell you this because it's informational based on what he said. As supermarkets hire people whose job it is to go collect stray shopping carts, supermarkets also assign someone every day with a shopping cart to go up and down every aisle and look for that corn next to the paper
So I'm creating
towels.
work.
Yes. So there is somebody assigned to remedy a situation created by Chris.
Imagine
Cody.
how boring that person's job would be without me.
I know, but you see it all the time. They find it fulfilling.
Great rationalizations, all of those. Like, imagine how bored they would be. Also, you know what you can do? You could just make it, I'm not actually doing anything wrong. I'm leaving treasures all over the grocery store for
That's how I look at it.
Now you got the right idea.
For a person to find fulfillment in their work that they didn't previously
Now
have.
you got it.
You're creating a job. for people.
What's this corn doing over by the greeting cards?
It's job creation. I want to understand what you think you're doing that's not immorality. You think you're creating jobs, so you're good for capitalism. You're creating fulfillment and happiness for someone who might be in an unhappy job, and you're just burying treasures all over the grocery store.
Imagine that person that's doing that classic greeting card peruse, where you're just standing about 3 feet back from it and you're just looking at all the cards. Which one am I get? Mother's Day, birthday. And all of a sudden you're scanning your eyes and you see a can of cream corn. Come on. That's good, clean fun.
The slots are small. How'd you fit the cream corn?
It's a tough fit.
I'm telling you, I think the person who collects the carts, if they see that there's a cart on the other side of the road, I think they're excited. I'll go get it.
I'm going to take 10. I got this one.
Yeah. You pop in your AirPod, you listen to a little bit of music, you take some along. I'll go get that across the street. Oh, wow, Chris Cody didn't put it in the special list of the cart. I'm excited about this. This is an adventure.
Yes, and I'm going to take it one step further.
Do it, Dad.
I'm going to leave a can of creamed corn in the shopping cart that I leave in the parking lot. That ain't right.
He got his catchphrase wrong. That ain't right is not one of his catchphrases. I have a number of different poll questions.
It isn't.
Here.
Who said that?
At Le Batard Show. Would you ever leave a can of creamed corn where the Mother's Day cards are? That's first, okay? Because that is aggressive. What you've just said, like, I imagine you taking a can and putting it with other cans that aren't where that can is.
That's more confusing.
No, but what you're doing now is if you're putting it over near the cards, if you're not, like, you might as well put it in the bathroom. Like,
I would. Just throw it on the floor.
I mean, if you're putting it near the cards, you keep getting more and more aggressive.
Ribeye steaks.
But I want to do a couple of these as poll questions, okay? At Le Batard Show. Worse offense, leaving your shopping cart wherever you want, or leaving the can of creamed corn wherever you want in the grocery store.
I had a couple other doozies on my Mount Rushmore of bad things if you wanted them.
Okay, so it's
not picking up my dog poop. I've said that I've
that ain't right.
Done that in the past. And I've also made the argument for, there's no law that I have to go fast in the left lane. Like, it's just like an unwritten rule.
I don't know if that's true.
That ain't right.
I mean, it's literally called the express lane.
I'm talking about on the highway without an express lane, that left lane.
Well, but I don't think it is a law. You can't go 45 miles an hour, right? Like, if you got to go at least 55.
Yeah, there's a minimum.
There's a minimum in all the lanes, though. My point is that it's an unwritten rule, the left lane thing. I don't see, this is one of those things where I've made the argument for it. I go fast in the left lane, but I'm not going to get mad at somebody if I'll just go around them. Like, it's unwritten rule. It's not an actual rule, left lane.
Oh, I totally disagree. If somebody's going slow in the fast lane, that's really annoying to me.
You try and run them off the road.
Well, not quite to that point, but I'll go past them and give them one of these.
But I think Chris is right. I think this is an unwritten rule. I don't think it's actually law. I think it's a courtesy. Put it on the poll as well, and I still have to get to the other poll question at Le Batard Show. Going faster in the express lane. Law?
Left lane.
In the left lane. Law or unwritten rule? Because I think that's an unwritten rule. I don't think that's a law. And also put on the poll at Le Batard Show, does the shopping cart gatherer, when he sees a cart across the street, think of it as an exciting adventure? Because this is what Zaz is claiming, that this person in their job doesn't necessarily get a whole lot of fulfillment from their work, but the ability to go make themselves useful by finding a stray cart makes them more fulfilled in their employment.
I'll tell you what, I think the next time I go to the supermarket, I'm going to do that guy a favor. I'm going to put the cart in my SUV's trunk, all right, after I undo the groceries. And then when I leave the shopping plaza and I'm on the road, I'm just going to push the cart out of my car.
It's a good idea by you.
Visual.
It's a great idea.
There's not a lot of things tougher to lift by yourself than a shopping cart.
Anybody guess how much a shopping cart costs? Because I happen to know.
I thought you were going to say way.
How do you happen to know? Get the happen to know music. How do you happen to know this? And Jeremy, have you found for me whether this is a law or an unwritten rule?
I have. Officer Roy of the Tampa Police Department explained on Good Day Tampa Bay that There's no speeding one way or another that changes there, but the left lane is indeed legally a passing lane.
Yeah.
So if you're driving a certain speed limit and you see a car approaching faster than you, you have to move over to the right lane.
Do you think anyone's ever been pulled over for that? Do you think that that's an enforced
They should do it with the semi-trucks. If you're a semi-truck driver and you're driving on the turnpike with just the 2 lanes and you're driving just as fast as the semi-truck that's going in the right lane,
You're doing the thing again, Jeremy.
it's ridiculous. A toast to that, sir.
We all heard it. You need to call it out every time it happens. We need to start shock therapying him. We do. Because, yes, when he's performing and knows he's performing.
Good day to you, sir.
Good day, Tampa Bay. Is that a good name? At Le
Great
Batard
name.
Show.
Oh, that's a great name. Come on.
Is Good Day, Tampa Bay.
Here's another thing. Here's another thing. It is not against the law not to return your shopping cart to the corral. If a cop sees you doing that, he's not giving you a ticket because it's not against the law.
But
no one said that was against the law.
It's selfish and immoral, but it's not technically against the law.
Immoral.
My real take on this years ago was I think there's a lot of people that do it and then do what you're doing of like, I'm going to judge you. That was really my take, is that I don't think it's this like crime to do it. I'm like my dad. If it's convenient, I'll put it back. But I'm not going to if it's like crazy. If some parking lots just don't have a corral.
I'm telling you, I might wait a couple of blocks as I leave the plaza and then push the cart out.
I need to talk more about this, but just to make some clarifications, okay? Because yesterday Zaz called me on something I wasn't prepared for when he said, what's the difference between Jaylen Brown being hurt and being insulted? And what I'm thinking to myself is that you can be hurt without being insulted, but you're unlikely to be insulted without being hurt. That was the distinction that I'm making. When Greg Cody says to me, immoral, I said it was selfish and immoral. You say no to immoral, but you say yes to selfish. Isn't selfish an immorality? Like, isn't it immoral to be selfish?
There are so many things higher on the immorality list than what you're talking about.
Agreed. There are a lot of things higher on the selfish list, but you'd agree it's selfish. You didn't object to selfish, right?
Yeah, I don't think it's mildly selfish. It is the lowest form of selfish behavior.
Is it because you, in fact, are selfish but don't want to believe that you're immoral?
I'm not immoral.
That is why, though.
No.
Zaz got you, though. That is why.
He did not.
You taught him this. You taught him this.
I didn't. What do you think I'm holding? I'm giving a seminar on shopping cart behavior.
Yes.
What do you think I taught him that?
No, he watched
He's a grown
you do
man.
it.
He's a grown ass man doing his own
He
thing.
did it. He didn't need the seminar. He learned by just
The
watching.
others, they all learn from me.
Nick, before we let you talk about the Steelers, you're in luck because we have the Love Doctor. The Love Doctor is here. He is ready. He is in his office right now. Dr. Greg Cody getting everybody ready for Mother's Day this weekend. And we have questions. The Love Doctor is going to have the answers. Who's up first?
I know a lot of people are going to come to you and they're going to want to know, how do you keep it interesting? Me, I'm not interested in interesting. So how do you keep it predictable? How do you keep it ho-hum? How do you just let it just be?
Was that Jason Tatum asking that question?
Young lady, you are my kind of gal. That's my lane. That's my lane of romance. I invented predictable. Nobody has perfected the art of dull routine like yours truly. As a matter of fact, little inside information here, my wife and I schedule our naughty time months in advance, like doctor's appointments. Quite often, she'll have to cancel because she said something came up. Unfortunately, sometimes I'll have to cancel because something didn't come up. That kind of thing.
It's a good look for us.
Do we have another question for the Love Doctor here after such great advice?
With Chris listening.
Oh, we're doing it, baby.
What are you guys doing, man?
Oh, you want question number 2?
Yeah, let's go question number 2.
Oh, yeah, Greg. Hey, man, I need your help, man. So I'm out of town for Mother's Day, trying to figure out what can I get my girl for Mother's Day in another city.
Oh, wow. Buddy, I'm worried about this. Not one, but 2 of the Love Doctor's marriages began rending like cheap fabric when Greg was either out of town at a sporting event or away at a doctoral conference. And the exes were doing the clandestine bumpy bump behind my back. Jack, I suggest you get your girl what you'd never expect, a private eye to keep an eye on her randy ass.
You know about that randy ass, Nick?
I don't like this at all.
Thank you, Love Doctor. Don't go anywhere. We may go back to you. Appreciate you.
I don't like this at all.
Somehow the least embarrassing Cody on today's show.
Wait till Nick finds out that Chris, with Greg sitting nearby, admitted about a half an hour ago that when he's having a hard time becoming aroused, he thinks of his wife's twin sister to get in the mood.
It was a shocking revelation.
That's what happened, Nick.
Shocking.
That happened.
Yeah, he did.
No, he did.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did. He did.
It was shocking.
Unnecessary also.
I don't like... This isn't... Again, I might need a mean here. This isn't K-Fab. K-Fabe?
K-Fabe.
Which is it? I don't know.
K-Fabe, wrestling nerd here at your service.
This isn't...
Zaz could have
Thanks,
helped
Mike Ryan. This isn't K-Fabe. I don't like this at all. And I would appreciate if you guys turned the music off. This is not great.
So the Steelers.
Are you ready to do your catchphrases? I heard there's some controversy around the. It's the Greg Cody Show featuring Greg Cody. He is counting down his top 50 catchphrases of all time. It has been a successful months-long joke. What is the controversy surrounding your catchphrase list? What is the issue?
It's big. The controversy is that based on quality demand, the catchphrase countdown has suddenly increased from a top 50 to a top 60.
What?
That's
what?
right. And it's controversial.
Of course it is. You told us it was a top 50, and we told you. We told you it was. We told you it was something you were making up as you went along, and that you weren't going to get the numbers right. And now you just changed it.
He botched it to such a degree that there are so many good ones left that we're just pushing all the current
I knew that was going to happen, though. That's exactly what you were saying.
Your brain beating me.
How did this happen? What was the ruling? What did the committee get together and decide? How did it happen that it got expanded? Now, no one's going to complain about this because more catchphrases is great, but we told you this was going to happen, and we told you this was a sloppy list by you.
The others, they all learn from me.
Yeah, right.
No, I looked at all the catchphrases remaining, and there was only 14 left, but there were like 20-something good ones. So I'm like,
thank you.
Let's go.
Wait a minute. So how did you do it though? Are there now? Is there now a new list 50 to 60, or
No,
what are you doing?
everything that's been said is just like what was 50 is now 60.
Yes.
There were 14 left, and now there's 24
So we're
left.
not in the top 20 anymore.
Now we're at 23
we were in
and 24.
the top 20 of the countdown, and now we're at 24.
I'm telling you, they're bangers though. They're just bangers
There
left.
is nobody that's actually upset about this development. Come on.
You've got to honor the list, though.
I'm telling you, I got a peek. I don't know the exact order, but I got a peek of what the top 10 looks like, and it is just banger after banger.
Yeah, Yeti hated it. He's against it.
Yeti thinks that we should just make him live with the world he gave
You
us.
should.
Like,
I mean,
there's-
I asked you several times throughout this whole process. Have you thought this out? Have you planned out the list? You know that there are 50. You kept assuring me that you have it all under control.
Driver comfort is paramount.
He ain't wrong. You know, part of the beauty of me is a bit of serendipity, a bit of
You're the kind of guy.
unpredictability. And so the same is true with this list. Okay, whenever you do a countdown, Zaz, bank this information for your future. Whenever you do any sort of a countdown, controversy is good. You want somebody to say, that sucks, that should be lower, or that's, wow, I can't believe that's not higher.
So wait, so what used to be 50 is now 60.
Yes.
So we've gotten fraudulent rankings up to now. All the numerical rankings we've gotten up to now are all wrong.
He can give you the updated, like number 60, he can give you the update of whatever.
I know, but they're every previous incarnation of this that we have given the American public and internationally has been wrong.
I would say adjusted more than wrong.
Adjusted.
Maybe to Greg's credit, too, I've never heard of a top 60.
Thank you.
Well, how do we know it's not going to end up being 62? Because he's going to think of two more on his way home because he didn't plan any of this
It
out.
would never be 62. It could bump to 65. It would never be a number like 62.
We would obviously go in fives, Dan.
Here's also the thing. This is a big question of mine. So you have left 10 out, which is...
Against the Spread. Against the Spread is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Chris, go ahead.
Man, do I love the World Cup. It's been so much fun. Tonight, 10 p.m., Colombia against Uzbekistan. Minus 1.5 goals. I think they could win this game by 3. You're getting it at plus 110, minus a goal and a half. Colombia, big favorites against Uzbekistan. Tony.
Guys, you know that I love the World Cup. I'm more of a vibes guy, okay? And what I love is getting a big team against a team that I want to go to their country, okay? So Croatia versus England, the Three Lions playing against Croatia today.
That's not good betting advice to just not like to
No,
go
but
to a
see,
country.
this is where people put a lot of analytics, people do a lot of stuff, and then you get to the gut, like Chris said, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, I want to go to Croatia. I love what they got going on there. Great fans.
Oh, yeah?
Good fans on the Croatian side.
All right.
I'm going to take the Croatian team with Luka Modric, who's 40 years old. Number 10, Luka Modric. Against the spread. They have a goal, half a goal. Half a goal plus.
You guys, the way that you have described the goal, the half a goal, you don't seem to have a lot of fluency in whatever the language is of making.
It's stuff is like half a point, but it's like half a goal.
I know, but you guys don't seem to have any fluency in the gambling advice that you're offering to people in just saying.
Half a goal.
I disagree. I think we sound fantastic.
Hits the crossbar, it's half a goal. It's like, boom, hits off the crossbar.
That's not real.
I want to ask you guys where we started the show about Lionel Messi and the idea of mastery. When I talk about everything that's happening at this time, what has to be, Zaslow, a golden age for sports. It really does, because all the time you hear people talking about who's the GOAT of this, who's the GOAT of that, GOAT, 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 GOAT. In baseball, Shohei Ohtani right now has mastered that sport in a way that has never been seen before. In basketball, LeBron James for 20 years has only one ghost that he's not better than, but the idea of what he's done is an insanity. Tennis is filled with this. From Serena Williams on, you could do this with Diana Taurasi or Asia Wilson. Like, there are just so many people running around that are better at sports than anyone's ever been. Like in men's tennis, you had 3 people for 15 years, each better than the other one, the previous one being an immortal, where you're just like, this is lunacy. When I talk about Lionel Messi, has he now been put in the conversation in America? I know he's this globally. In America, where you can take what he does and say, no, that goes over Brady. That goes over Michael Jordan. I know that in America there's no topping Michael Jordan, but Tom Brady, because of the amount of winning that he did, when I talk who's the master of the masters during the total golden age of these people have perfected these things, and once upon a time 100 years ago, when sports wasn't this big, there was allowed to be one Babe Ruth. Now there are a dozen. Like, there really are. We're living in a time where you can go grab in just about any sport and be like, that's the best there's ever been there. There's nothing close to what that is.
It's a good question. I think the answer, I think it's either Brady or Jordan. And I lean toward it being Jordan, but I think that's only because Brady seems to be more accessible. He seems to be more out there, where I feel like when we see Jordan in public, it's like, holy shit, that's Michael Jordan.
But what does that have anything to do, though, with what I'm talking about, which is just excellence and not perception, where I'm talking the greatest there's ever been? I'm now used to these people at 38, 39, 40 years old doing these absurd things because science and medicine and healing and teaching.
But it's only the best, Stuart. It's only like the very, very, very best. We're talking about Brady and LeBron and Messi. Like, that's it.
Yeah, but Brady is a special kind of lunacy because he's still doing it, or was still doing it, at 45. Messi doing it at 38, to me, is also a lunacy. Mm-hmm. But I've been really, I'm going to say, dismayed by around this excellence, the changes in our society that make television a lot louder than it used to be and social media a lot more critical than anything around this has been. Things in sports with mastery are better than they ever have been, and I think less appreciated than they should be, because you have these two things conflicting where people with short attention spans and a need to criticize and feed the content machine aren't actually appreciating, hey, there are 10 Babe Ruths running around the earth right now where they're doing something in sports that can't be mastered this way.
Dan, the problem is with that, it's great. We got to find out who the best one is of the Babe Ruths that are 10 out there. We need to find which one is the best and then criticize all the other ones.
Ohtani.
I think Ohtani, what he does because of its versatility, if you could be the best pitcher and the best hitter, that's a lunacy. But the reason I'm tying it to Messi now is because it wasn't that long ago. And this part is just stunning to me. It wasn't that long ago, it was the last time he won the World Cup, that people were wondering if he could ever win big. And now he's starting another World Cup with 3 goals that if he didn't have the previous title, what we'd be doing to him right now is, yeah, Messi, whatever, but can you do it at the end? But because he's done it at the end, now he gets into this conversation. He's been in it, obviously, in every other country. But does doing it in this country at this age end up doing something for Messi's legacy that couldn't be done if he didn't come to America to put him in the conversation with these people where you're like, look, soccer's never been played that way. There's just never been anybody who can walk around out there, keep the ball on a string on his foot like that, and see something that no one else on the field sees at all times. And also with the precision, yeah, the goalie might get his hand on that ball, but he ain't going to stop it because Messi is out there. He's out there with a pea shooter. Like, he just has an expertise that no one else out there has.
Oh, my God, like the second goal that he scored yesterday, that snipe to the top shelf. I assume you're saying when he comes to the States, You're talking about MLS as opposed to us hosting this World Cup, right?
Well, I'm just talking about all of it because when you start the World Cup, okay, as the defending champion in MLS, doing scoring no one's ever seen in the MLS at 38 years old.
Defending World Cup champion.
Yeah, and you're the defending World Cup champion. What he's changed in the last 4 years, 4 years that when soccer players at any point in my lifetime have been 34 to 38 years old before now, they get bad. Like, that's how that one works. You don't get better. You don't improve your reputation from guy who's a joker to guy who's the best we've ever seen across all of sports unless you do the kind of winning that he's done the last 4 years. Brady has had all that mastery. We wouldn't make him a master if he didn't have the 7 titles. I actually think that Aaron Rodgers had the same kind of mastery, but because he didn't have the winning to go with it, he will not be in this conversation.
And in soccer, all you need is one World Cup. You don't need to chase ghosts of 6 World Cups because nobody has that. So it's not like I'm chasing this thing. Once I have the one, I'm golden for life.
And appearing in 6, which is what Messi has done now, 6 World Cups, that's crazy. I mean, that's a 20-year span.
I think what you're doing with the Rodgers to Brady thing, Dan, is about the sort of robotic nature of Brady, while Rodgers had that beautiful creativity that you get to see from Messi, that you even get to see from LeBron. Iman Shumpert was talking about it, I believe, yesterday, where he was saying the thing that's so special about LeBron is that even at this age, he plays with creativity in a way that, like, we talk about Jason Tatum or all of these other guys who are these AAU products. Here's what Shumpert had to say about LeBron.
He is a 41-year-old kid. Yeah. They say you act exactly how you act when they handed you money. You could tell LeBron got paid at 17.
Yeah. Ben saw that.
Shit, younger than that.
It's raw, though.
17,
no, that's
16.
you put that in a nice perspective.
Yeah.
It's the reason that he that cold, because he think like a child. Like, when you was 17, I'm sure you probably was like, it's like before you get to college and they break you, where it's like, that creative mindset where you like, but why, coach? We could just do this. And it's like the coach explained it to you, and then you stop, like, even questioning the coach. You like, let me just go out here and do what I'm supposed to do, handle my business, make sure we win, and then boom, I want to climb up the ranks. I don't want them looking at me like that. Bron went at 17 while he was still curious. Yeah. And got to navigate through that. Now, he didn't get to keep one coach, but he got to navigate. You know what I'm saying? It's like, now it make sense for me. Like, damn, bro.
He at that level now.
But that's how he got there. It's like us with our kids now. We ain't had none of this Instagram. We ain't know what workout. You got to the league with not knowing what workout you was doing. You just hooping.
Zaslow, I have thought over the last 20 years of LeBron that there would be any number of spaces and places for him to lose the joy because of what changed in, like, no, it can't just be excellence. It's not creative. It's got to be better. It's got to be better. It's got to be better than Jordan. What is Greg doing out there? Why are people gathering, people who work for us, people who I need paying attention to this show and producing the show? How is it that they have...
A shopping cart costs about $175, and here it costs a little bit more if it's got the apparatus on the wheel that prevents it from being removed from the parking lot. It costs more like $325. But the point is, when you move a shopping cart, no matter where you move it in the lot, it does not devalue in price. So it is not saving the store any amount of money if you walk the convenient 14 steps and park it next to the tree next to the parking lot where my car is parked, or if you walk 111 steps to the cart corral, which is totally inconvenient, especially because even though the sun is out, it's starting to rain a little bit. Okay, so I'm here on the cart. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the 14 steps and put it right here, which is right next to where my car is parked. Okay, I have a beautiful 1994 Toyota Corolla. It's parked right here, 14 steps away. Why on earth am I going to walk 111 steps and move it here in the corral? Because here's the thing. The cart boy just came out of the store.
Can I go out there?
It's a good seminar. I wouldn't blame you if you were out there. It's more entertaining than what we're doing in here. Do any of you call it the corral? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
The shopping cart?
What?
Yeah, that's what it's called.
The Silver Corral.
That is what it's called?
Yep.
I don't know what the other name for it would be. Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. do you call the place where they gather the shopping carts the corral? Because that's not something that I've heard before.
The other thing is that it's not against the law to leave the cart here. In fact, the truth be known, I used to be best friends with a Publix manager. He says he preferred it when people don't use the cart corral because the cart corral gets filled up very quickly. And so the cart boy has to be dispatched more often to empty the cart corral than he does when carts are left randomly all across the parking lot. So the cart boy, whose main job is to be the bagger at the checkout aisle, he now has to be, there's only one cart boy per store. So if the cart corral is filled, he has to be deployed
He's
a lot
breathy
more
because he's been out there for a long time talking. That's
Great seminar. We're at 30 minutes of the seminar already.
It's a great seminar. I understand why everyone is gathered around. That should be done in a stadium full of people. I think that we should charge and see if we could fill the arena with Greg Cody's shopping cart seminar. Now, I am offended that he has raised a child that puts the can of creamed corn near the Mother's Day or on the Mother's Day cards. I'm shocked by that. Do you realize, Chris, that if someone is looking for Mother's Day cards filled with a sentiment of love and appreciation and they see a can of creamed corn, you have diluted that experience. If that is over there, you have ruined someone's relationship temporarily with their mother and with other humans because of the disgrace it is to have a can of creamed corn in that section of the store because you're lazy and selfish and didn't want to go put it back.
Or I just created a two-bird situation. Someone who needed corn now gets their corn while getting their card. You're welcome.
Zaslow, do you do any of these appalling things? Because you do learn. I have to restrain myself from.
Is that the cart boy only has a certain amount of time they give him. The manager says to the cart boy, when you go out to collect carts, I want you back here in 5 minutes because your job is more important bagging groceries than it is taking carts back because a lot of people do bring the cart back. And another thing, about 40% of people pick up a cart that is left anywhere, not just in the cart corral, but here. Like, pretend like you're parking. You've just parked here, okay? You're not going to take a chance that there's carts left in the store. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to take the cart I just left. You're going to take it from here and wheel it into the store.
It's a great point by him. I've done that move where you see a cart by your car. It's like, I need a cart when I get in there. I'll just roll this one in. I'll help them out today.
You see that crowd surrounding Greg? Like they're on fire.
Zaslow, have you taught accidentally through watching your sons any bad habits that when you see Tamara sees them, she's like, that's Zaz's fault because Chris learned this from his father, the leaving of the shopping cart wherever he is. And I have to consciously, when I am at a grocery store, not walk around just opening things and eating them because when I was a child, my father would always go to where the candy was, the individual candies that weren't there meant to be taken by you. They were meant to be put in a bag and then bought together. My father would unwrap them, eat them, and then just throw the wrappers in the aisle.
Play.
No, it's not. It's stealing. It's not a heady play.
Stealing. Come on.
It's not a heady play.
That ain't right.
Man, a young Zaz, though. Just the visual of him being like Zaz.
Yeah. Like your wife asks what everybody wants for dinner at pizza, and the kids go, yeah!
What do you say?
Anytime my boys, especially my younger one, anytime my boys do something that my wife does not approve of, she always comes back and says, he learned that from you. He got that from you.
Only the bad stuff?
It just so happens that all of the good traits that my boys will give out, she taught them all of that. And anytime they do something stupid, which is often, anytime they do something stupid, they're my son.
In the parking lot, they see the spectacular hat the cart boy is wearing, and they know to stay away. It's a safety thing, okay? Notice that in a supermarket, the cart boy is always wearing a spectacular large hat when he goes to get the carts, whether from a corral or left more conveniently here. So notice that and beware of the cart boy in the crazy hat.
Greg, can I talk to Greg for a second? I don't mean to interrupt your seminar, Greg. I'm sorry. It is riveting. I understand why you've drawn a giant crowd out there. I appreciate what you've just done because for 20 minutes you have just put on a hell of a seminar where you never once stopped talking. I was impressed by everything that you were doing out there.
Thanks.
The lesson that you are teaching there that is most important is what?
It doesn't matter where you return the carts. Okay, the fallacy is that it's polite and it makes all the sense in the world to do that. No, you return the cart safely to wherever you can. Now, I'm not saying you don't put the cart here. You don't take up a parking spot with the cart. No, that's not what I mean. You park the cart anywhere that's convenient to you as long as it's out of harm's way because the cart boy in the crazy hat is paid, literally paid, to go retrieve the carts no matter where they're left.
Greg,
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Not a standing ovation. No, it's not a sitting. No,
Thank you very much.
No, it's become a standing ovation. Yes,
Thank you. Okay, please take your
robotic
seat,
here from the crowd, right?
Thank you. That's very, very, very thoughtful of the crowd. They appreciate the cart boy and his hat.
Get back in here.
Okay.
Get back in here and help us out. Help us do the show. We appreciate all of your hard work out there. I learned this from my father. What are the things Tamara is saying? What are the most offensive things that you're thinking of, Zez, when you're saying to yourself, this is the disgraceful behavior that they've learned from me?
Yeah, I mean, it's mostly stuff around the house, that either my boys are doing or they don't do. But sometimes, if we're out in public, behave a certain type of way, he learned that from you. He got that from you. I'm like, why is it never he got that from you when they do something stupid? It's always me, and it should be like, because you're stupid.
I want to ask the group a question here as the United States plays on Friday, and a burst of weird and unexpected enthusiasm for the American side, not just because they won 4-1, but the way they won. We're used to over many, many years of they promised us good American soccer. Maybe they get up 1-0, they park the bus, and the goalie is going to get pelted the rest of the game as they try to protect a 1-0 lead. They usually don't take the 1-0 lead and keep attacking all game and all of a sudden win 4-1. It's one game. And this sport is confusing to me because the goal is worth so much. The goal itself is worth so much that I believe the margin of error is smaller in soccer than it is in all of the other sports. Because if you get some fluke goal, any team in the sport can score a goal. There are ways to protect that lead. The goal is worth just way too much. It should or could skew results, even though it generally. Is that Greg's breathing?
Yes, it is.
It is. Are you that winded from what it is that you were just doing out there?
Breathing.
Thank God for it, by the way.
Thank you.
God bless his heart.
That is good. Yes.
And his lungs.
God bless his, yes.
Bless his heart.
God bless his oxygen. Yes. Yes.
Okay, don't bless my heart.
No, I want you breathing. I want you breathing.
Thank you.
It excites me that you're still breathing.
I am still breathing.
It is a fuel source for the entirety of this show.
Yes. Thank you very much.
But the thing that I wanted to ask you about American soccer, because I'm really looking forward to Friday, and is the hope real? Can they actually do that again? Because if they do something like that again, the teams that win 4-1, 7-1 in this tournament, those are the teams that tend to make the deep runs, right? Argentina winning 3-0 yesterday, that is a spectacular blowout in that sport. That is not a close game in any way. Never mind what the Germans did. But can you guys explain to me why it is that the literally colorful centerpiece of the American team that seems to be among the most we've ever respected in this country, that was led by Alexi Lalas as a personality more than a player, because he was just big red scarecrow running around out there, and he became a star. People really don't seem to like him.
That's what I'm seeing.
Pulisic, you mean?
No, Alexi Lalas.
I thought you meant the current star of the team.
how did you not know who I was talking about when I said literally the big colorful star at the center of the last World Cup team that was
I didn't
popular.
hear the last World Cup team.
But I was making the point that he's a redheaded person and that he's literally colorful. Pulisic is the very opposite of that.
Right.
Like his red, white, and blue are colorful, but there's nothing else about that human being that is colorful.
Yeah, many people don't like him, though, so that's what I thought you meant. That ain't right.
Is it because you were just so winded and fulfilled from your last 20 nonstop minutes of seminar, a standing ovation? You just stopped listening to anything we were doing here?
Right.
Listen, he made a good joke. He had a good cut down of me in the Shadow Show today, and then he just put on an award-winning seminar. He's checked out for the rest of the show.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Plus, in fairness, Dan was taking an awful long time to get to whatever point he was making, so I just got, I got a little antsy.
It's true what he says.
Yeah.
I often take a meandering route to get where it is that I'm going. But the Alexi Lalas, the feeling, just put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Alexi Lalas, thumbs up or thumbs down? Is what I'm feeling and what Zaz is saying correct, that this person who is basically an American star, who word association, soccer, and used to be, we like that guy. That's somebody that we like because he wasn't just, it's not just that he was colorful. Again, he wasn't a great player.
He was recognizable.
He was recognizable, but he was also colorful personality-wise. Like, he had big opinions. He still has big opinions. There are plenty of people who don't like his politics. That's part of it now. You can't.
Is that what it is? Because I feel like everything I see of him online, it's people saying, like, either A, how terrible he is, or B, that Thierry Henry and Zlatan want to fight him.
Zlatan.
You need me to tell you who Zlatan is?
Yeah, I don't know that fool.
Well, you just made him Latin. You just, instead of making him Zlatan, you made him Zlatan.
That ain't right.
Greg, do you have any opinion here as somebody who's covered Alexi Lalas for a long time? We're talking about somebody who's been in the mainstream around soccer for 30 years, teaching us to love soccer, making Americans care about soccer. Alexi Lalas, I would say, is one of the biggest names in the history of American sport and American soccer, even though he's not one of the best players in the history of American soccer.
I think he was a pretty good player, but he wasn't a goal scorer per se, so that's why he's not thought of as being a bigger star like Clint Dempsey or Landon Donovan or some of the others. I think Alexi Lalas had a really nice career, and he's a very successful broadcaster. I don't listen to him as a broadcaster enough to have a strong opinion on whether he's any good as a broadcaster.
But you do get the sense, like what we're talking about, you are hearing these criticisms, right?
Mm-hmm. I am, but I don't have a strong opinion whether they're valid or not. Like, I have heard criticism about his politics and why'd he say that, why'd he say this. But in terms of his soccer analysis into a microphone, I don't know whether he's good or bad.
Give me names that you associate with American soccer immediately, because I don't know if Lalas is second, but it's
Landon Donovan.
His hair.
Sure.
It's pretty.
Taylor Twellman.
It's pretty high on the list,
Dempsey.
and it doesn't have to do with greatness. It has to do with are you a personality? I'm not disparaging the career of Alexi Lalas. The career of Alexi Lalas, though, is not stardom because of the merit of the play. He is not a star because his play was so excellent that it required stardom. It's because it came in a colorful package. It's basically out there with big red hair, scarecrows running around out there, and then he gives the good interview after the game. He's almost, I'm going to say, in American soccer, I think I have this right. You tell me, Greg, as our expert, if I don't have this right. He might be just about the only guy in American soccer who actually increased his stardom with personality instead of play. Like, it was all, not all packaging. He was good enough. I'm really not meaning to disparage him, but his stardom does not reach his stardom is bigger than his play was excellent.
I would agree that his stature as a soccer broadcaster may be greater than his stature as a player that gave him that opportunity.
I think we just haven't had enough great players. It's a really small sample.
Like, Tim Howard was a good broadcaster, but he was a great goalie. So to your point, he was better on the field than Lawless.
You said you hear American soccer. What do you think? I think of like several women before I think of any of the men.
Yeah.
True.
As a voice for American male soccer, though, as a voice for correct. American women's soccer has been better than men's soccer, but right now we're talking about the game they have Friday, and we're talking the specifics about Did America turn on Alexi Lalas? Like, is that what has indeed happened? When I think of, it's not just American soccer and a name associated with it. He's been a voice for this team for literally 30 years.
I feel like the people, and obviously Mike would probably have a better ear because he's in those circles and group chats and stuff. I feel like my boys that watch soccer, that follow soccer, have always been down on Alexi Lalas. It's not a thing of like, oh, now they're down on him. They've always been down on him from some of his takes, from some of the things that he says about the play on the field, stuff like that. So it's always been like a baseline of, he's not that good.
I'm under the impression that we have this conversation every 4 years. Every 4 years when we see Alexi Lalas on our TV, we are having this same conversation.
It doesn't help that he has Zlatan next to him. Yeah. Because Zlatan is just got the charisma.
He's got aura.
He's got it all.
Zlatan. I just don't want to keep calling him Latin. It sounds like you're saying he's got a Latin guy next to him. He doesn't have a Latin guy.
Do they have a Latin guy there?
Zlatan.
It'd be crazy if they did that for America.
A Swedish guy and a French guy.
Greg, what are you expecting on Friday from our team? Because I don't believe that after one game you could ignore 30 years, more than that probably, this is the year the American soccer team will make some sort of leap, and it's never actually some sort of leap.
Yeah, the popular thing is let's not get carried away, right? It's one game. Nobody would be shocked if they settled for a 1-1 draw with Australia. I'd be surprised, but not shocked. But I think you can get carried away. This team is different. It's not that they won 4-1. It's the way they won. I have rarely, if ever, seen a U.S. men's soccer team in a World Cup that aggressive and that impressive offensively. Pulisic's their best player, and he was the fourth or fifth best player in that game because they had so much talent around him. They have a coach who's an accomplished coach. So I think this is the real deal. I think they're going to handle Australia pretty easily.
If we kick the shit out of Australia, it might be on.
Look, they're obviously going to get to the next round, which at this point I think goes without saying. But then they have to beat. It's like Chris we had Whittingham on my podcast, and he said, and I totally agree with him, the U.S. begins to get respect if in the knockout stage they beat a team that makes everybody go, wow, really? And there are only like 6 or 7 of those teams in the world. Okay, it's Spain, France, Brazil, Argentina, Germany. If they Portugal, if they beat one of those teams in the knockout round, then people are convinced that U.S. soccer has arrived.
Put this on the poll, big poll day, at Le Batard Show. If we kick the shit out of Australia, it might be on. Yes or no?
Who's that?
Yes or no?
That was your kid.
I want you to spell. If we kick the shit out of Australia.
How would you spell that, Zaz? That's one of your catchphrases.
Is that like an E-E-H-H thing?
Is there a W in there?
I dare you to steal that. Double dare you.
That might be your top catchphrase. Congrats.
Oh, don't worry. I'm compiling a list.
I bet you are.
I'm going to display it. Don't worry about that.
Okay.
4 steps ahead of you.
What was that word again? He said? I can't remember. I'd like to hear it again, though.
If we kick the shit out of Australia, it might be on.
Oh, there's a G in there.
You're expecting them to beat Australia, and you'd be surprised if they lost to Australia?
Yes, very.
The only reason that I make this point, we talk about sample sizes all the time. One goal is worth so much in this sport. We don't have any other sports that end in 0-0 ties. And if you get in a one-game sample size a 1-goal advantage because you got lucky, you got a penalty kick, something, there are just these huge distortions that can happen to who's actually better, because even when Messi and Argentina are that much better than somebody, the victory is only 3-0. Like, that, you're talking about something that seems like it could be subject to randomness a little more than the average sports thing, where if I keep giving you 100 chances, over 100 chances, the better thing is going to reveal itself. Over 1,000 chances, the better thing is going to reveal itself. But when you get 6 corner kicks a game as the greatest advantage, you're just not getting that many opportunities because of how skilled everyone is. When we talk about the precision of all this stuff, okay? The expertise and the mastery of it, the loneliness and the boredom that Drew Brees talks about when he says, excellence is lonely. These countries are sculpting this very specific thing every day, every week, for 4 years to beat you by a goal. By one goal. They're sitting there, sprints, everyday sprints, precision, get it to Messi's foot on this spot, for one goal that wins one of these 0-0 games. And it's with the biggest stakes. It's not Wemby can come take 7 shots the last 2 minutes of the game. You get one shot. It's the Olympics, and you get one shot at this. You get the group stage. That allows everyone to screw around for 3 games. Like, okay, you can have a bad one in here, but once we get out of here, you can't have any bad ones. You have a bad one, you're done. And it's why I never expect anything from the American team. Mm-hmm. Like that, the reason I never expect anything from the American team in terms of a long run is because, no, they're never going to be the better team for a sustained period of time.
Right.
The way they play isn't going to be the one that's lucky about the one goal because they're not attacking all the time. They haven't been. Historically, they're not good enough to be the team that is leading the entire game in terms of just the way the Brazilians play, where they have the ball all game most of the time.
Yeah, well, that's why I say it was so refreshing to see the way they beat Paraguay. Not just that they won 4-1, but the attacking they did. It did not look like a U.S. soccer team that I'm used to. It looked like something, a totally refreshing brand of aggressive soccer with 4 or 5 really, really talented offensive players on that side. I think it was so impressive.
Hope then, after one game, they've convinced you. You are now expecting, if you expect them to beat Australia and they've already got a 3-goal differential, you're expecting them to advance beyond this round.
Yes, I'm expecting them to beat Australia. For sure, and they will absolutely advance past this round. But then the tougher games against the bigger opponents start, and it's winner take all. And whether they can keep winning at that stage, I think they will. I think they're going to win at least one knockout round.
Well, they better. I mean, because it's a round of 32 now this year. You know, like if you win this group, like if they beat Australia this week. You got a great, you're going to win the group if you beat Australia this week, and that's highly advantageous because then you're going to play one of those wild card teams in the round of 32.
For me, after that first game, I'm gonna say that I think they have the potential to reach the round of 8, to reach the quarterfinals. I think that's the upside for this team, and that would be tremendous.
If you guys are interested in this U.S. matchup coming up Friday, Mike Ryan will be on our live YouTube stream tonight, 6 p.m., previewing Australia, USA, all the recent World Cup stuff.
If you'd also like to follow all of the scores live, CodyCup.thegregcodyshow.com.
Thank you very much.
Big day yesterday for me.
It was a big day.
I know a lot of people care about that, but
yeah.
How was it a big day for you? And for those who don't know what that ridiculous website is, would you like to explain it to them?
I read it right off the paper he has in front of him.
Thank you.
The writing on that paper that he has in front of him is comically small.
It's called CodyCup.thegregcodyshow.com.
Greg, you've been promoting something for 2 days here that is in such small type that no one can read what you're promoting. They can now because, they've just put it up now.
2 minutes of zooming in to get to that.
It's like a footnote.
The cameras.
It's a football sport.
They just use a camera that people use to see the Earth from the moon in order to see the size of that type.
If we kick the shit out of Australia, it might be on.
For the audio audience, I don't know if you know what Holland looks like from Norway, who scored 2 goals. He's been great for a long time, and he's also giant. He's bigger than everybody else on the pitch, and this look of his is terrifying. Like the visual of this. If I told you this was popping out of an alien right now and coming to attack you because it wasn't of this world, you would say that's terrifying, right? When it's bigger than everyone else who's out there?
Yeah. Plus, the little bow in the back of his hairstyle is also pretty interesting to look at.
He looks a little bit like Hans Gruber's brother in Die Hard.
That guy's so good, though. What a day yesterday was. I'm just thinking back to it. Mbappe, him, Messi, all of them balling out with multiple goals on the same day.
Yeah, it was great. And Haaland, he's 25 years old. People think of him as older because he's been a star for a long time. This is his first World Cup, so it's like an international introduction for him in a way.
It really is impressive, though, to me, to watch a soccer player be bigger than everyone else, right? So when you got corner kicks with that team, you're just terrified that he's going to head it in because he's just taller than everyone else. I told you guys that Chad Ochocinco went and tried to play one time with either Brazil or Real Madrid or something, and he was very fast, but he couldn't get anywhere near the ball. So you can't just throw Shaq out there because he's bigger than everybody. But this guy.
Yeah, but I also saw Tyreek Hill dice up. I don't know if it was Real Madrid or Barcelona or somebody. They were running routes and it was Tyreek Hill versus the other guy, and they're like, "Oh, we can keep up with him." And then he gave him a post inside and then went corner, and that was that.
When you see Haaland in the box and Norway's taking a corner kick, that's when you realize how physical the game of soccer is, because you see defenders, 4 or 5 defenders, trying to elbow and literally push him away from a chance to get a header on the ball because he's so tall and gifted.
He looks like that Wemby microphone sounded.
That does sound like the sound that would come out of that human being if it was emerging from something to attack you. Jessica is there, and I wanted to save a topic. I've saved a topic for 24 hours because she's got more expertise here than we do and I do on Brendan Sorsby. She's been following this for a while. And the legal maneuvering on this, Jessica, I feel like the conference and your Mark and all of these people got together, and it wasn't public pressure that did this. It was the power of all of these people who want to protect the quote-unquote integrity of the game, when I don't think that game has a lot of integrity. The business of it doesn't have a lot of integrity, but now Sorsby cannot play for Texas Tech. Walk us through what happened here and how there were midnight legal proceedings that end up making it that last week they're telling us that Brendan Sorsby's injunction and everything else is going to be handled in February after the college football season, nonsensically. And then 2 days later, there's so much legal maneuvering that never mind, he's out of the league, gets to keep his NIL money, even though he's not going to play for Texas Tech.
Yeah, so I think that there was a little bit of an element of public pressure here that led to ultimately what happened through the court stand, where I'm not sure if any of the events of this Monday happened without so much backlash from fans and from fans of other Big 10 or Big 12 schools, from fans of Big 10 teams, from fans of Georgia, and like the outcry and the backlash that happened immediately after the injunction. So after the judge ruled that Sorsby was eligible to play and would face a 2-game suspension, this is what happened, I believe 10 days ago on June 8th. There was a lot of back and forth from the conference and from other schools and from other people who were pissed that this was going to happen, basically. And amidst all of this, the Attorney General for Texas, Ken Paxton, who's running for Senate this upcoming fall, wrote a letter to Brett Yormark and to the Big 12 saying that if you sanction Texas Tech, there is going to be possible liability, and we will see you in court, basically, if you try to do this. And I guess that is ultimately what opened the door for the Big 12 to file a clarification, like a legal complaint late Sunday night, early Monday morning, asking for a federal court basically to clarify if they had the right to discipline Brendan Sorsby under the conference rules. So yes, like parts of this did play out in court ultimately, but I'm not sure if any of the back and forth between the different attorneys generals for different states that are part of the Big 12 happens without people being very vocally pissed off about all of this.
Did anyone see this coming? Like the thing that happened Sunday night where all of a sudden Monday morning he's in the NFL. Did anyone have that happening?
No, because last week it seemed like there was a little bit of a stalemate where was the Big 12 actually going to try to sanction Texas Tech? Did they have the legal grounds to do that? Like we talked last week, I mentioned that there were conference bylaws that might come into play, and would Texas Tech be subjected to conference bylaws that they agreed on, or would they try to say, well, we're just following the rules. A judge said he was eligible to play. So no, I think last week it seemed like he was going to play, Dan, and it wasn't until this Big 12 filing from their big fancy big law firm on Sunday night where it seemed like, okay, now it looks like there could be follow-up court dates between now and the supplemental draft deadline, and it's probably in his best interest just to declare for the supplemental draft before that deadline goes by. And ultimately that's what happened, and it's just sort of, to me, still a little unclear if that was because of the legal pressure or Cody Campbell basically was like, we think we'll win this case, or maybe we don't think we'll, but whatever, but you should go. Or Brendan Sorsby was like, I've had enough. I think I should go. I think it's kind of up in the air. Seems like the legal pressure did play a big part in it, though.
I got to tell you, it's ridiculous that he will never play a game for Texas Tech. He's the one who did the wrong things. He's leaving and going to the NFL supplemental draft. Keep the money. Like, why does he get to keep any money?
It doesn't make any sense at all, guys. Like, the idea that he gets to keep what the NIL is right
why
there.
Why does he get to keep any
money? It's crazy to me. The fact that he gets to keep that money and then move forward toward the NFL draft is just absolutely nuts. Like, Tony.
It's a play on for me.
How is it a play on?
It's a play on. Texas Tech has more money than anybody else. They're throwing money at every single sport.
Just because they could throw the money around doesn't mean he should just get to keep it.
I'm sure that there was an under-the-table deal. They knew what was going on and said, hey, look, just come and make it happen over here. If we can get you past the law part, like we can go play and you can keep the money.
Jess, it's ridiculous, right?
It's not my money. I don't frankly care. Cody Campbell has billions of dollars. If he wants to pay Brendan Sorsby to not play football this year, like I truly do not care. Obviously, like it seems unjust because he did something that he should not have been able to do, but I don't really honestly care about the money. That is like the least of my concerns in all of this.
I'm sorry, Greg, go ahead.
No, Jess, do you think it's a given that an NFL team is going to bid a high draft pick to get this kid? Because I don't think it is. I think there's a very good chance he will not be drafted at all in the supplemental. What do you think?
I've heard both opinions from people that I've talked to, Greg. I've heard everything from if teams think he's good enough, they will bid on him and they will face whatever possible discipline comes after from the NFL. And I've also heard no one wants to touch this because it's gambling. It's, the thing that NFL teams, as we've seen in the past, will deal with all sorts of disciplinary issues when it comes to a lot of things, but gambling is one thing they don't want to. I would also say, guys, like we've talked about the NBA playoffs all this past month and the month before, and we haven't really talked about the much worse gambling scandal that the NBA was pretty easily able to sweep under the rug and just get people really excited for their playoff games for. So I feel like the NFL, this is not even close to the magnitude of that scandal. I feel like the NFL, if they need to just kind of sweep it under the rug and say, here's a suspension or whatever, I think that they would probably be able to get away with that.
I'm totally with you, Greg. Now, granted, the NFL, so college athletics, like they've suspended him 2 games, and the NFL can uphold that. Like they could say, okay, you don't just get the skirt. Like this happened with Terrell Pryor, I believe, right? Where okay, you can't just avoid the suspension. We're gonna uphold what the NCAA was gonna suspend you. So he's likely gonna be suspended in the NFL if he is selected. But I'm with you, Greg. Like I've heard both sides too, Jess. I don't know that there's gonna be a team that puts in a bid. Like maybe it's a low pick that they wind up bidding.
Let me just cut through some of this. One of the things about this story that was most amazing to me is that this kind of thing was being considered for a quarterback that, while a good prospect, Jess, he's a good prospect, we weren't sure how good he was going to be in college. They were going to great lengths. Like I'm not saying he's bad. He's an above average quarterback. But to me, this was more about the importance of the position than the greatness of the player.
I think there's a reason that Texas Tech was willing to make him the highest paid quarterback in the transfer portal this year. I think they thought that he was genuinely a difference maker and he was worth what was reported to be $5 million in NIL. So I do think that there is a belief that he was worth all of this. And if he had a good season this year, he would play himself into the first round of the NFL draft next year.
The World Cup is upon us, and I am curious.
Hold on, Dan. Before you ask this question, I got to go get a drink of water. It's been a long segment. I need a break here. It's just a little hot in here, and mid-segment here. Can I just go get some water? Good. All right.
Is that a hydration?
I think we have to cut to commercial.
I see what he did.
Break joke?
Water brought to you by H2O from the sky.
I don't understand. People are freaking out about this hydration.
Jessica,
break.
do you have any thoughts here?
Because it's a travesty. Are you a soccer fan, Zaz?
Yeah, who cares? Who cares that they're taking a 90-second break? Yeah, who cares?
They're literally cutting to commercial in the middle of the half. Like, this is not how soccer is supposed to go, Zaz. It's one thing if you're doing a hydration break on the field because it is genuinely hot. Some of these games are doing it when they don't need to take one, when they're like in a dome. That is abhorrent. But it's another thing to completely cut away from the action and go to commercial and run ads. Like that, to me, and the fact that the hydration breaks themselves are sponsored, it just feels like a blatant grab.
All right, so hold on a second.
The game of soccer is not meant to be split into quarters. It is a game of halves.
All right, so hold on a second. All right, you're telling me I'm supposed to get angry about cutting to commercial like every other sport that I watch. Like it's not something it's not a hill I'm willing to die on. You know, and we're not missing any game action. They're taking a break. They're doing their hydration. They're coming back. They're adding stoppage time. I'm sorry. It's just something for people to get angry about. Let them get a sip of water. Who cares?
First it's quarters, and then we're going to split it into eighths. I mean, just to be okay with this is you're the first person I've ever talked to who's like, yeah, I don't mind extra commercial breaks in the middle of a sporting event. That's not supposed
Maybe I got to go to the bathroom.
That's crazy. Go lick a boot.
All right, we can continue.
How can we get our sponsored programming in if not for that? I need to see what the sponsors want to sell me. I have to see it.
At least stop the clock.
It's called every other World Cup in history. They run ads during halftime and before and after the game, not during the half.
But
not
Jess,
being a made-up break.
Jess, I understand you're saying like every other World Cup in history. Can we both agree it's hotter outside than it's been in past history?
You know they're only doing that.
It's getting hotter and hotter.
You know they're only doing that because of Miami, right? They're only doing this because they have to do it in Miami, and they're like, we can't just do it in Miami and not do it everywhere else.
That's right.
It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. It was really, really nice out yesterday during the game that was at MetLife Stadium. Or I'm sorry, New York, New Jersey. Someone's gonna sniper me for saying MetLife Stadium. I don't know what's gonna happen to me now. Soccer is a game, Zaz, that builds. It builds and it builds and it builds, and it's a game that is not. It's not basketball. It's not like every other sport where there's breaks and there's timeouts and there's pauses. It is a game that builds over the span of 45 minutes.
I don't need soccer explained to me. I understand how soccer works.
I feel like you do.
We're not missing anything. They're not stopping. They're not taking the water break in the middle of a counter, okay? We're all of a sudden, oh, yeah, you got a 3-on-1 here. No. Let's go get a sip of water and then continue. It's like when the ball goes out of bounds or it's a goal kick. It's such a nothing.
Then take your sip of water and don't cut to commercial. Like, that's what I'm saying. Just keep it within the play of the game. Because it is a legitimate break if you're watching it on TV. And soccer, I play soccer since I was 4 years old, all right? I have soccer bona fides. From every level of soccer up until the professional level of soccer, you play halves. You don't take quarters breaks in the middle of a half.
Actually, that's not true down here. I coached my son in rec league. We had 4 quarters. Wow. Jess, we had 4 quarters. Wow. I coached.
Bona fides.
This further proves how fake of a place Miami is. It's not a real place. Nothing that happens in Miami.
First off, this is not Miami. He's talking about Cooper City or somewhere up there. He's not talking about Miami. Leave Miami out of this.
That's right.
You're right. Let me direct this straight towards Fort Lauderdale, wherever you are. I don't know.
Cooper City. I run Cooper City.
Did you just soccer splain to Zaz?
Well, he tried to soccer splain back.
What?
We're having
You're
a soccer
trying to
explain
explain soccer to me.
You're trying to defend commercials during World Cup games, which is just a frankly abhorrent. Like I just don't understand it.
No.
I'm dismissing it.
I'm not defending. I'm not defending. Would I rather
pretending
commercials?
like I didn't hear it. La 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 la.
I'm not defending.
Never heard it.
She can't la 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 you. She cannot la 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 you, Zaz.
I will admit, when someone does that, it's tough to win the argument.
This all just feels a bit performative, guys. It feels over the top, and that is worth a toast.
Just terrible. terrible. Get out of here. Just get out of here. Get out of here.
Please go.
Minor penalty, 2
Go
minutes.
take a hydration
Out of your mouth.
Let me take a break.
Okay, so you know what, Jess? Jess, something that you and I can be on the same page together here. You ready? This we will agree on. Did you see this, okay? And I'm not going to call it Gillette Stadium. It's I guess it's Boston Stadium. At
Foxborough Stadium?
Okay, Foxborough Stadium. At Foxborough Stadium, the video, the people who are watching on video can see now, this is a picture of one of the seats in Foxborough Stadium, where you see covered up on the seat, you have the number 3, because that's the seat number in the row, and underneath it is the logo of Gillette Stadium, and covered up with like blue tape is presumably where it says Gillette Stadium. So, because you can't have any type of advertising that's not approved by FIFA. So, Jess, am I to believe that someone, or maybe a team of someone's, had to go to all 64,000 seats in the building and take blue tape and cover up the word Gillette on every single seat?
First of all, you have said the G word way too much. There is a red dot on you right now. Please take it back. Do not say the name of that stadium. It is not supposed to be said in this context. And yes, I think that is what you can assume from that photo. They covered up all the G words in the stadium.
I like to think that they handed out little stickers to every person watching the game, the first game, and they're like, now please, when you get to your seat, put this sticker behind and cover
This is like the cart boy. Now you're taking jobs away from guys who are going to go there for 64,000 times and put them there. So now those guys are out of a job, Greg Cody.
Cart person, am I right, Jess?
Let's get into this with Jess, because we've been talking about it all show. The idea that Chris Cody, which is the worst crime here, or immorality or selfish behavior, leaving the cart wherever Chris Cody wishes to leave it outside of a grocery store, or if he gets a can and is 9 rows away, he will not go back and put the can where it was. He'll just put it on top of the Mother's Day cards.
The biggest crime is Zaz defending going to commercial during World Cup soccer matches. That's the biggest crime.
Jess seems like someone.
And
she's like me
secondary,
here.
whatever Chris Cody does.
Jess, you're like me here. And you're in the shopping. You're in the grocery store. You realize
Never
you
say
don't.
that again.
You realize you don't need this item. You just put that item anywhere. Come on, admit it.
It depends how big the grocery store is, but usually I'm very intentional about how I shop Chris Cody. I'm not just like throwing shit in my cart. If I can't carry it home in one bag, it's not coming home with me. I live in an apartment.
Is the hydration situation strictly money grab? I've heard Whitty talk about how it is a momentum killer, and there are issues that soccer teams have with what it does to goal scoring. Is it strictly money grab?
If they weren't going to commercial every time, then I think you could say, no, they're probably looking out for the team's welfare. On Telemundo, they're not cutting to commercial. I've watched a few games on there. Don't speak any Spanish, but I am trying to learn. They just stay on the field. They don't cut to a commercial break.
I think I did
I would have to go with yes. I assume.
I think I did see that Fox is making an estimated $250 million from hydration breaks.
FIFA will tell you it's safety. It's because of the heat and it's safety.
Yeah.
But they're just taking that opportunity. They're like, hey, if we're gonna be safe here, let's make some money.
It's a health issue. My objection.
Is it a health issue or a money issue?
I think it's both. I think it's a health issue.
Then why did you just say it's just a health issue?
I think it's good they do it. I do. I'm for the hydration breaks. What I'm not for is letting the clock continue to run so that the extra time after 90 minutes is longer. It's like 8 minutes now. It's ridiculous.
That's because of the hydration break.
I know.
Can't stop the clock.
It's like
stop the clock. In other words, stop the clock. For the
now you're just
hydration
being
break.
ridiculous. It's soccer. That's never going to happen.
Jessica,
Thank you, Chris. God.
Bend the rules.
where are you, Jessica, on Freddie from
Bendy's.
LA, Freddie from Germany? Where are you on this?
I like that guy.
You know, last week I said he seemed like someone that would be part of a CIA psyop. This week I think he's just doing the American grift of tweeting a bunch of stuff at brands so he gets free stuff. Or I don't know if he's like actually tweeting at the brands, but he's tweeting about the brands and now he's getting free stuff. And I don't know. I'm curious if it's been a turnoff for anyone else.
Jump
like
the
Chris
shark.
Cody, are you watching this and you're like, less cute now because he's got JJ Watt's setting him up in a nice hotel room?
It went from adorable to try hard really quick.
And he's living the American dream. Imagine one of us try to do something and it catches fire like that. You're going to try to ride it till the wheels fall off.
Put it on the poll, please, at Le Batard Show. Adorable to what here? Because I want to compare this. Adorable, I want to compare Wemby. Who has gone faster from adorable to try hard? Freddie L.A.
Evil.
or Wemby?
Great poll.
Also Jeremy.
I don't know who to vote. That's a great poll.
Jeremy, you didn't start at adorable.
That is a good poll.
Jeremy? I mean, I thought Jeremy was pretty adorable when he started here, and then you guys put him in a position to not look so adorable over and over and over again. But to me, he started as
here's
adorable.
one. Who's less poll question? Who's less of a main character that tries to make themselves a main character? Jeremy or Freddie? And you could throw Wemby in there,
I mean,
too.
Jeremy's a pretty good main character on the several other shows that he does.
I'm a fantastic main character.
That's worth a toast.
Jessica, where are you on this being the single happiest time of your fiance's life? And do you believe that Lehman was happier this week than he will be on your wedding day?
Correct. Dan, it was such a strange night on Saturday. I was not sure what his reaction would be to the Knicks winning, but it was not what happened, what transpired never was what I pictured. He was virtually catatonic for about an hour when the game went final and didn't really speak or emote or really just react at all. It was kind of scary.
Thanks
I was
for
a little
mansplaining
concerned.
catatonic.
So you're welcome. I know that you know what it means, but Tony doesn't know what it means. So I had to, it was kind of eerie. And then we went out to a bar and his parents met up with us and we got a drink and he hugged his dad and then he cried. And I felt like I was in the middle of a Wright Thompson story. #fathers and sons. It was pretty touching. There's probably no way our wedding day will top that unless the Knicks win another championship like that night. But it was very special. I'm very excited for the ticker tape parade tomorrow. I'm going to try to get up early and go. But it's going to be a zoo out there.
What were you expecting from him? Like when you said you were, because this is something that would be the happiest he's ever been made by sports, correct? In any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
And so when that happens, you were expecting that to look like what and how jump up and down happy is he normally as a personality type?
Like last year when they won a few playoff games, he jumped in our friend's pool after the game. So like I was expecting like a yeah or like a woohoo or like something like that, like an exclamation, like we did it, oh my god, and like maybe like a hug or something. But he just sat on the floor and kind of like stared. It was very strange, very zombie-like. So that was kind of what I was expecting. But yeah, instead it was pretty eerie and unsettling and creepy.
A lot of people are talking about the finals. We have talked a lot about the finals. Is there anything that you are seeing anywhere in the coverage, because there's so many people talking about this right now, that not enough people are talking about, that you think is being missed here when it comes to the spectacle that is New York celebrating this way?
I have seen a lot of consternation from fans about the ticker tape parade, which if you're not a New Yorker, this is a hundreds-year-long tradition in New York to have these big parades and celebrations for whether it's, sports teams or when Nelson Mandela got released from prison, there was a ticker tape parade. When Apollo 11 landed on the moon, there was a ticker tape parade. There's been ticker tape parades for a lot of different celebrations in New York City. And there's a lot of consternation that the parade route isn't long enough. And I understand why, because it goes from the very tip of Manhattan up to City Hall, which is not a very far stretch of Broadway. But I would also say I think it's very cool that the city has these traditions. This is the first time the Knicks have ever had a ticker tape parade. And even
Jess,
though
I have
think
to stop
it's going
you.
to be incredibly
Jess,
crowded.
Ticker tape. What is that?
Yeah, what's ticker tape?
Why don't you just call it a parade?
Yeah.
No, so this is thank you for asking, Chris Cody. Ticker tape is these like tiny little ribbons of paper that were used for trading stocks before everything got digitized. And so New Yorkers would have these parades, and it started sort of spontaneously in the 19th century where they'd start throwing the ticker tape. There's the really, there they are, like really thin, like
confetti,
ribbons of paper that Yeah, I guess it's like confetti, but they were actually used to trade stock. Like the stock price would be on the tape, and the machine that it came out of made a ticker sound. And we were like tick, 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 like that kind of thing. So people would throw it out of the window of their businesses along Broadway, and so they became known as ticker tape parades.
Excellent.
So it's a very specific thing in the financial district of New York City, and not something that is replicable probably in any other city because of obviously the New York Stock Exchange being downtown. There's a ticker tape machine. So now they obviously don't use ticker tape anymore. I went to a ticker tape parade for the U.S. Women's National Team 7 years ago when they won the World Cup, and instead of ticker tape, they just had, regular confetti and streamers and stuff that people were throwing out the window. And I did read that the city was going to be distributing confetti to businesses along Broadway to throw out the window tomorrow. So it is a very sort of New York specific type parade. And so when I have seen people complain about it, I hear their complaints because, Dan, like I said, there's going to be a ton of people shoved into a very small, narrow part of Manhattan. But I do think it's important that the city uphold these types of traditions because it makes the city very cool and unique.
I just learned something there. Put on the poll at Le Batard Show. Did you know what ticker tape was, actually? Because while I've heard of ticker tape parades, I've never known any of what it is that she just said. And is there still ticker tape in the digital age? Are you saying they're going to be throwing things from buildings
cell phones flying
that are still being used when we've gone all digitized here? Like, are you sure? Because visually, that's wonderful to see people throwing from all skyscrapers and buildings, just throwing ticker tape. I just don't think people have ticker tape anymore.
No, I think they're just using, I assume, just shreds of paper. Like in 2019, people were throwing like shredded paper and like shredded documents out the window. So I was able to steal some social security numbers and do some light fraud after, but we'll see if I'm able to do that this time.
So it's just a litter parade.
Woohoo! Let's litter!
Right.
It's not ticker tape, it's
But Dan,
litter.
I have to give some credit to the city of New York because Saturday night, I know everyone outside of New York is talking about how like debaucherous these crowds were on Saturday, but I woke up Sunday morning expecting to see like empty beer cans and bottles and like shit all over the street. And I went for a walk like all through New York. I didn't see a single piece. I mean, and this is for New York we're talking about. Like, there's garbage in the streets constantly. I didn't see any indication that there had been a huge citywide celebration the night before. They did a really good job of cleaning things up after Saturday.
Jessica, thank you
they'll do the same
for
tomorrow.
being on with us. Check out her weekly Notre Dame podcast, The Echoes with Mike Golick Jr. Thank you. Appreciate the time.
Bye.
Echoes.
Thank you, mustachioed person who has replaced suspiciously Jeremy. Appreciate all of your good work there.
You're darn tootin' welcome.
Again?
That ain't right.
That's worth a toast.
You did it better all the times that weren't sponsored than you did it the time it was sponsored. All of your toasts since then have been more natural and funnier than the one that was sponsored in our money grab, our hydration situation, which is of you sponsoring a toast to sleep at the end of the first hour, inexplicably, out of nowhere, and as an added bonus, after the clock had expired, you decided to do a toast to sleep.
I asked permission and consent. That deserves a toast.
Can I talk about how much I love this June? Right now, it's June, and I'm looking at Get Up, and I have Damian Woody breaking down the World Cup.
Happy June.
It's just makes me happy.
Who's that next to him?
I think he's actually a soccer player, but
okay.
4 times smaller than Damian Woody.
Really? Looks like an optical illusion.
It really does. It looks like, let's see if we can get an assortment. This makes me laugh every time I see Pablo and David Sampson in a studio together. The camera angles that we have in New York make it so that Pablo looks like he is the size of a parade float next to somebody who looks like the size of Brad
we are
Williams.
efforting. We're going to find all our examples of this.
We have so many examples. We've got Derrick Henry looking like so much bigger than Billy Gill. But this right here, what's on our screen, which is going to Damian Woody in a brown suit to talk about the FIFA World Cup Group L, England versus Croatia.
Also, when Zaz was sitting in this chair and Tony was standing next to him. That was a funny side-by-side. See, right here we have Derrick Henry and Billy next to each other. That's a classic one.
Put her on the poll at Le Batard Show. Do you want to hear from Damian Woody on England versus Croatia? Yes or no?
I think I had a better pull on the game. Me versus Damian Woody. More entertaining on soccer, Dan. I had the Croatian team plus half a goal.
Right before, he's like, does that guy number 10 still play for them? I was like, yes.
Luka Modric. Place I'd like to go, Croatia.
Do you guys know how bad you sounded during the sponsored DraftKings segment on soccer?
Don't put Tony's shit on me. I was
Both
great.
of you. No, both of you.
I gave you the 3 Lions for the English team.
You can't just say 3 Lions and say that this is good analysis, okay?
I said take Colombia minus a goal and a half. They could win 3-0, I said.
They gave their best effort, and that's worth a toast.
I like this better now. That should be sponsored by Cuervo every time because that is worthy of a sponsorship because it's funny as opposed to the first time that you did it. Again, I don't understand. Here is Brandon Marshall looking a good deal larger than me in studio.
Oh, my God.
That's not real.
See, I want to apologize for this AI slop.
No.
We did this months ago.
No.
See, you said yesterday. I was like, I was like, we're not going to be perfect.
I want to be
This is funny.
No,
This is funny.
It is funny, but I don't want to use AI slop. I want to respect.
Put up Big Fat Dan.
I want to respect the ethical concerns of the audience, and I want to make our own art. I want to use our own intelligence to make our own art and make a statement in the modern day about we are not going to ruin the environment by using some of these tools that are immoral.
I got bad news on the environment, Dan. We're not the ones going to propagate the environment here by using Big Fat Dan on AI.
Well, in the video team's defense, that already was made, and that's worth the toast.
Where are people toasting? When is the last time any of you toasted?
A wedding.
Wedding.
Where else?
Oh.
I was at a birthday party last Friday. We did a toast.
Anytime you're at like a day out with the friends, like you get the first drink.
Yeah, I toasted like 2 weeks ago. We were out with another couple. We hadn't been out with them in a while, and we did a toast.
Yeah, what's the difference between the toast and the cheer? Because that's what we're asking here, right? Cheers. I cheers every single meal I go to. But a toast is a different thing.
A toast conveys a speech has been given.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and glasses have been clinked.
So I'm wrong. It's a cheers I do.
Well, yeah, we clink the glasses. When
you got to clink.
Yeah.
Well,
clink.
get it right, Chris. What are you confusing a cheers and a toast? But what are you doing? I didn't. I said, when do you toast? Roy said, weddings. I said, when else? Everyone else here was stumped. You came in.
Saturday mornings, I love a good.
You came in with a clear clink. You didn't come in with a toast. You came in with a clink. We were talking about toast, and you decided to clink it. A toast always has gratitude in it, correct? A toast always, without exception, a toast is always something that has gratitude in it?
I think gratitude and a short speech. Like, you have to say some words. The toast is not the clinking. The toast is the preamble to the clinking, right? You have to give a paragraph.
You say something nice.
Paragraph, yeah.
Put it on the poll. Is the clinking of the glasses the foreplay before the toast? No, it's after. The toast. So wait a minute. The clinking of the glasses. Let's discuss
that's
this
the
for
cheers.
a second. Yeah, that is never a toast.
Yes, it's absolutely
if you're
toast.
If the only words said are, hey, let's get a cheers here. That's not a toast. That's a cheers.
No.
A toast is there's 4 of us here. You know, I just want everyone to know here, I really appreciate all of you.
That's right.
You guys are good friends.
Usually
and
say
it's
I'm gonna
really
make a
good.
toast.
There's got to be at least a 2 or 3 sentence of something.
Right. Yes. Gratitude would be included.
Yeah.
You're thankful for something.
That's right.
You're toasting something that you're happy
Sometimes
about.
I'll toast negatively though. Like if a group of us, if we hate one of our other people, like you just be like, how terrible is Jeff? All right, we can all agree Jeff's terrible. Let's bring it in.
Do you do this to me?
When you're not here. A toast is always preceded by knife on the glass. Ding, 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 ding.
It's only at a wedding. You're ridiculous.
Not true.
Doing
Starter.
That
What?
Starter.
You know how stupid I would look if I'm sitting with 2 or 3 people and I start clinking my
Chili's
glass?
clinking
With a big
on that
crowd, though, you have
plastic cup at Chili's.
Need the attention.
I love Chili's. That's worth the
If
toast.
you're in a crowd with more than 12 people, you
Exactly
clink.
right, Greg.
You clink to get
One
people's attention.
And if it's a loud place, maybe less than 12 people.
One
What
thing-
if you're at a restaurant,
one
you got 8?
One thing I'll never do.
Good chemistry between
One
you.
thing I'll never
I'm
do.
talking.
One thing I'll never do. This is very important. I need to say this. One thing I'll never do is cheers, table, then drink. It's going cheers, right to my mouth. No, I'm not putting the glass. It's such an unnecessary step.
Bad
A
form.
lot of times people do this with shots. We're doing shots. Hey, let's all do shots.
Yeah.
Cheers. I'm not going. Like, it's just such an unnecessary step. Why are you going down to the table? Can anyone explain it? No, you can't.
If the toast goes on too long, I'm going to take a sip of champagne before the toast is done.
No.
I'm not going to wait till the end.
No.
What do you think of that?
No.
Monster.
You're not supposed to. That's bad.
Doesn't
luck.
surprise me at all.
That ain't right. Is that worse or better than leaving a shopping cart with out of the corral? In the Dan Le Batard morality scale.
I don't want
where
to
does that
compare
rank?
atrocities.
Morality scale.
I want to ask the audience, I think this is an important distinction. The clinking of the glasses has an implied gratitude in it that without words is a toast. That you're making
a boring ass toast.
No, you're crazy.
You're making a toast verbal, but the action of clinking on glasses, now that I've talked this through, if you're clinking on glasses, you are grateful for being with those people at that time. It is not just clinking on glasses with no meaning, no symbolism, no nothing. It's got the gratitude in it. Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Is the clinking of the glasses a toast? And then also add to that, does a toast have to be verbal? Because it has to have gratitude, but I think if you're doing that with your friends at dinner, it's because you're grateful to be having dinner with them. It doesn't even need to be said. The gratitude doesn't need to be said. The reason that you're doing that is because you're grateful for it.
It's true, too, because you have drinks with people where you don't cheers, right? But then you have drinks with your friends, you do cheers. There's a distinction there.
So the cheers is the unspoken toast.
Yeah.
But if you're the best man at a wedding and you stand up,
Jeez, clear your
and
throat.
instead of saying anything, you just go like this. A toast to Al. What do you think the groom, how do you think the groom feels about that?
Al is a great choice of a name there.
Thank
You guys do understand, though, that when you do cheers, 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 that's not a verb. That's not an action. It's a toast.
Let's bring aboard Juju here. Juju, what did you make of the supermarket behavior that was displayed on the show today?
I think we all can go to the drawing board and learn from each other. I think we should ask each other more questions and then take advice from our brothers and sisters because y'all got some embarrassing habits at that supermarket.
I can't believe the eating. And look, I see this. I see other people do this sometimes, but I don't know. I feel weird grabbing a bag of chips or whatever off the shelf and I put it in the cart. I'm just eating away the whole time.
I don't do that, but I will. Sometimes my daughter wants to buy, like sometimes I'll let her on the weekends get a donut and they'll package it. They package it. They put the little price thing on it.
That's okay.
I'll open the donut, let her eat it while we're in the store, and I leave the empty thing that still has the barcode on it.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, so I leave that and I scan it
You're
empty.
going to pay for it anyway, though.
And then it's always a nice moment with the person working the cash register because they take the thing. And they're like, where'd this thing? They always do the thing of like, hey, this is who stole this? And then my daughter is like, oh, sorry, I ate it. It's always adorable.
Now this is important, okay, Juju, and I didn't bring this up earlier, so I'll bring it up here with you. When you're checking out at the register and the bag boy, he's helping somebody else out, how do you automatically go and you're bagging yourself?
I 100% bag my groceries every single time I go to the grocery store, man. Like, I feel like that's for elderly people and people who don't have the capability to bag their own self or big tippers. I dare you to, I frown upon people who allow the bad boy to bag their bags, put them in the car, and they be like, all right, bro.
Well, you're not. Well, what if it's a store like Publix? It's policy. Yes. You're not allowed to tip.
I'm telling you, they take it.
I mean, then you go to that self-checkout line if you're of able body and bag your own damn groceries.
I'm with Juju on this 100%. If you are an able-bodied person under the age of like 60 and you have the cart person, like the person bagging, push, because they always offer, can I push this out for you? If you sit there and let them push that out for you, you're a monster.
Oh, no, I never say yes.
Never
like, do you
that.
need some help? Like, no. I'm like,
of course not.
You could see I'm okay, right? No, I don't. And I'm telling you, that only goes to show my theory with the cart being placed somewhere else in the lot is something that they like. Because the guy who is bagging my groceries, he gets done bagging, he sees I am a completely able-bodied person, yet he still would like to go out and help me with my groceries. He's dying to get out of that store.
Nah.
You heard my seminar. I mean, he's
in the
not
same
wrong.
way you dying to come on the alley-oop because you work at Middle Life.
Juju, you got some polls for us today. What do we got?
Yes, sir, man. Who do you trust more on NBA news? Kendrick Perkins or Gary Washburn?
Come on, Gary.
66% of the audience says Gary Washburn.
Yeah.
Put him up. You did?
Yeah.
that makes sense.
What a victory.
Going faster in the left lane on the highway. Is it a law or is it an unwritten rule?
That's a law.
62% of the audience says it's a law.
Yeah.
Worst offense, leaving a shopping cart in a parking space or leaving your groceries in the wrong aisle. 86% of the audience says leaving your shopping cart in a parking space, Chris.
Yes.
Is Good Day Tampa Bay a good name? 53% of the audience says yes, it is. Would you ever leave a can of creamed corn where the Mother's Day cards are? 67% of the audience says no, they would not. While I'm here, I'd like to remind you to listen to the Greg Cody podcast featuring Greg Cody
Thank you.
now wherever you get your podcasts.
Thank you. Thank you.
And that's worth a toast.
It is worth a toast.
Have you
Thank
ever been amazed by a legend's walking? Bruh, this has never happened on the show before in the history of this whole entire show.
No.
50% of the audience says yes, and 50% says no. Read it and weep. Speaking of I like to remind everyone to listen to the Zaslow Show 2.0 wherever you get your podcasts. Alexi Lawless, thumbs up, thumbs down. 76% of the audience says thumbs down. Damn.
Wow. Yeah. That's a big number.
If we kick the shit out of Australia, it might be on. 89% of the audience says yes.
Yep.
Who has gone faster from adorable to try hard? Wemby or Freddie LA? 91% of the audience says Wemby.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what ticker tape is?
Nah.
Ticker. 60% of the audience says yes, they do.
Don't forget the Bachers.
Exactly. That poll came up asinine. 24 hours later, you guys need to get in the gym and get your personalities in order. Is the clinking of glasses the foreplay of a toast? 88% of the audience says yes. And last poll, does a toast have to be verbal? 95% of the audience says yes, and those are your polls.
There it is. Good job, Juju.
Thank y'all.
Folks, listen up. The Cup is taking over the U.S., and only DraftKings Sports has you fully covered. The DraftKings Sports app is now available in all 50 states, giving you access to every market and keeping you in the excitement at the speed of sports. New DraftKings customers sign up with code DAN. Spend $5 and get $200 in rewards within 21 days. That's code DAN in partnership with DraftKings. The crown is yours.
See y'all. Never.